Yeah, welcome to the dojo, baby, man. Have no fear, TyKwonDoe is here. We have a different kind of video today. And I know you might be wondering, why is it so long? Well, I'm going to make this as quick as possible and let the video speak for itself. But today we're going to be talking about everything from finding your purpose, finding who you truly are deep down inside, not what society made you to be, not what your life and all these experiences, all the community and all that, who you really are deep down inside. This will be about spirituality, mental health. I'm going real in depth today. You're about to see a whole different side of me that y'all never saw on this channel. And it's going to be worth it. But if you finish this whole video, whether you watch it parts by parts, you watch a half an hour, come back 20 minutes, however you break it down, I can say that if you finish this video, you will never see life the same. So I'm going to warn you that before you watch this, if you really want to get yourself into this, I believe it can help you. I believe it can change your life for the better and align you to who you truly are. Let's go, man. Dojo to the moon to Saturn, and we leaving the solar system. The limps don't even know we exist. Just to catch y'all up into the flow of where the video is going to start, I was watching another content creator, another Twitch streamer go live, and he was mentioning the topic, and he was trying to explain it, but he couldn't put it in. He couldn't articulate the words to really touch it and go in depth. So after seeing that, this is what you're going to see is where I play the clip and then I explain it myself. So that's just to jump into the flow of the whole video.
Philosophy?
All right, here it is. Check aimbot. I found it. I found it, bro. I'm a guy. I'm
Going today on this fine Sunday afternoon.
Watch.
It's great.
Watch. I found it, bro. Watch.
I had
some of the best French toast I've ever
I
had.
did philosophy 1, 2, and 3. I had psychology 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean we have mandatory 3 years of philosophy.
What did you learn in philosophy?
And so we begin. I'm not gonna lie, bro. We're about to go down the rabbit hole. It's about to get deep. So if you listen, get your popcorn, go get your water, go to the bathroom if you want to take a break now, because we about to be, listen, it's about to get deep. So you better just take your break now. I'm about to grab this textbook, bro. Listen, if you want to take a break, now is the time. If you're going to pay attention to the whole thing, you have to watch now because it gets deep. It's a lot to explain. And especially because he explains it so bad, y'all know I'm going to make it very, like, I'm gonna break it down, everything. I'm going to show y'all the picture. I'm going to show y'all how the picture makes sense. I'm going to even read stuff, like, from the certain, like, listen. It's about to go down. But we're going to start with this. We're going to start, chat. Are y'all ready? Rika says she ready. Are y'all ready, chat? Are y'all ready, bro? Hey, we about to go down the rabbit hole, on God. Y'all know I prefer these streams over reacting to these days, on God. Y'all already know, bro. I love to be on the intellectual side of things, bro. Y'all don't even know, bro. But listen, chat, and remember, it all went into the mental complexities, the socialized mind, self-author mind, self-transfer mind. Chat, we really about to go there, bro. I'm gonna let y'all know we really about to go there. We really about to go there. Let me check on something though, cause I ordered some food so long ago, like they forgot about me or something. I'm gonna just keep my phone right there just in case, chat. It's about to go down.
When?
That was the intro though. That was the intro. Oh God, that was the intro.
I had
some of the best French toast I've ever
I
had.
did philosophy 1, 2, and 3. I had psychology 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean we have mandatory 3 years of philosophy.
What did you learn in philosophy?
When?
What did you learn?
I learned a lot. Maybe even too much sometimes.
Too much, huh?
The allegory of the cavern.
What the hell is that?
Now he said cavern, but we say cave, so it's the allegory of the cave. Cavern.
It's so it's a story. It's an allegory. You know what an allegory is?
Isn't that like a businessman or something? Oh no, that's Al Gore.
One of the famous philosopher, Plato. You know Plato?
Yes.
Okay, so Plato, he had this thing. It's called Plato's Cave, or the Allegory of the Cave, and it kind of goes like this. It's like a man who lives in a cave, right? And in the back wall of the cave, he sees all these people.
Any education? Oh man, he is from Canada, bro. Did that count? That's North America, right?
Moving and doing all these things like dancing, like all what they're doing, right?
So he can see through the cave and he can see what they're doing?
No, he sees the shadow of the people outside doing stuff.
Okay.
And he accepts that as the reality or whatnot. But it's an allegory. It's just the shadows, you know. And
he trying.
So are the people not?
Chat, I give it to him. He trying, chat. He trying. He really trying, bro. And as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, he's so far, but he like kind of almost there, and it's like, It's like, bro, it just irked my soul to just hear him explain it, bro. It got under my skin so bad, bro.
Not doing that?
Well, they are.
Oh, let me change
So what's the point of the story? Whoa, that was weird.
And she
it's like
and she asking questions, so he really trying to answer. He really trying to figure it out, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like that's how he perceives it,
Match
or whatnot.
found.
You know, because it's his reality because of the people, the shadows. That's all he gets. You know, he doesn't actually see it, or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and Google it so I get a refresher.
Okay. Respect. And then you can explain to me after the refresher.
He trying, chat. He's really trying, bro. He really is trying. Yeah, it's XQC.
What's up, my guy?
If I could also play Silva.
It's XQC. So he Googles it real quick. He comes back. Watch this.
Whatever you want to play, bro.
I'm being a boy this game.
Yeah, I had it. I literally had it. So it's the representation. It's the representation of the reality, but that is in fact not the truth. It's not what is actually happening.
Yeah, but I don't understand how it's not what's actually happening.
Well, because for him, that is what he gets. That is his perception of reality.
Bro, watch when I explain it, you gonna see like he's so close, but he's so far. Like I was hearing him say it, I'm just like, oh, bro, I'm like, just spawn me on the call. I got it, but I'm gonna let him really explain it so y'all can see that he was like kinda getting to it a little bit. It just really takes time to explain. So they playing violent. He probably was like, man, this shit.
Yes,
So again,
but what
but
is actually happening?
Yeah, but he only gets the shadows though.
Yeah, but the shadows are.
Yeah, but he only gets the shadows though. Bro, the way XQC talk is just make it 10 times funnier because he's trying to clean it up. No. But that's like his perception of reality. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like
A representation of what the people are actually doing. So isn't it actually happening?
No, you're right. But for him, the shadows are what the reality is. But it's a false representation because it's not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
What's happening outside at the above. You know?
Yeah, like two shadows could be together and it could look like they're hugging, but they could be very far apart in reality.
I'm honest with you, okay? Philosophy kind of goes like this. Even after 3 years of it, okay? You learn the basics of all the big school of thoughts, right? You learn the Marx, the Plato, the Socrates. You learn like the Descartes. You learn the big veins.
So look, I think that was basically it though, right? But chat, it's time. It's time. It's my turn, buddy. Listen, I give him a lot of respect and I commend him because even under pressure, even under like, you know what I'm saying, Pokemon asking him questions and her trying to figure it out, like he was really trying, bro. He was like, he almost had it on the nose right at the end where he was like, what did he say? He said something like it's it's a false representation of what's really going on in the above. Chat, who ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready to dig into it? You need to put your thinking cap on, man. We this is nothing to do with getting girls and nothing like that, bro. Nothing to do with trolling around. This shit literally might change your entire perspective on life. I swear to God. Like, there's some deep shit we about to get into, bro. There's really some deep shit. All right, let's get into it. Let's start. So listen. This was written because I think his master's name, and by master I mean like his mentor, but they used to call it like master or something. Like not master, but his mentor though, right? his mentor had been killed by the government, like on some Jesus Christ type shit, for like his thinking and him speaking out and his writing and shit like that, right? His master, his mentor was Socrates, I believe. I always mix up the names. I don't even remember names, bro. But I believe his mentor or something was Socrates, and then, you know, Plato was under him, right? So listen, after his mentor had been killed for his way of thinking and stuff like that, he wrote the Allegory of the Cave. Why? Why after his mans got smoked, he wrote the Allegory of the Cave? Because it was a big metaphor. This is the basic. Before we get into any details, y'all gotta just know the bigger picture of it. Like, it was him capturing the details of why his master got killed, or why his mentor got killed. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what this is all about. It's just that his mentor got smoked by the government, and he got killed for his way of thinking and shit like that. And he was like, he made a big, deep allegory of the cave to explain why he had been killed. All right, now let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Every detail in this picture means something. Let me use this one right here. Oh, that's too small, bro. All right, look. I like this picture. I like this picture better. I like this picture better. Even though the other one had a little bit more like details and shit, this one makes more sense for what I'm gonna say. Look, you got on this level, right? Pay attention to my mouse. You got on this level the people who are chained to the wall. They're looking at the shadows on the wall of the cave, right? The shadows come from the projections of these people right here holding these shapes up from the fire. The projections come from the fire touching the objects, projecting on the wall, right? Don't care about who is under these robes. Don't care about what they stand for yet. Don't care. Just notice what's going on. They're holding these projections. The fire is creating shadows on the wall, and that's all these people in the cave are seeing. Oh, you can't see? I can't see my mouse. Hold on. Now look. Can y'all see the mouse now? Can y'all see the mouse now? Can y'all see it now? All right, bad. Now let me start that over, bro. I'm gonna make it simple though. Like I said, you have the people on the walls, right? They're basically supposed to be chained to the wall. You can't see this detail here. You have the people on the walls, right? They're basically supposed to be chained to the wall. You can't see this detail here. But they're like kind of like chains to the wall. They're looking at these shadows on the wall. That's all they know. The shadows are coming from these people holding these sticks and the projections that the sticks shape, right? The projection is coming from the flame, the light of the fire, touching the projections, projecting it on the wall. Just understand that part first. There's nothing to understand. I'm just pointing out everything, because all these little details are going to come out later, and it's going to, you know what I'm saying? Because look, it's a bird here, it's a tree, and you look outside, it's an actual tree and it's a real bird. But hold on to that. Just notice this stuff. You have these people who are stuck on this level of the cave. You have these people who are on their way climbing out. You see this person right here, right? This person right here is covering their eyes as they make it out the cave, right? Let me move this over because I just realized it's blocking my face a little bit. You have this person right here who's covering their eyes as they make it out of the cave. And that's because it's going to be a connection I'm going to make later where like the sun and the fire are like connections of each other for like in the sense that it's going to make sense later. Just notice all the details. This person is covering their eyes as they come out the cave. You got this guy who, it's the same vase from the wall that was projected, and it's a real vase right there. Real birds, real trees, real vase. It's all outside, right? Looking at this guy, right? He's looking at the vase. This guy is looking at the birds. That person can't even handle the sunlight yet. All these specific details and everything you see is a metaphor on God. Like it's like you're literally looking at birds, light, people in the cave, but it's such a deep metaphor. Now, but I had to point out all the details because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna refer back to them and be like, this is why that's there. This is how it makes sense, and this is what that is relevant to, and that's why he, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Hold on, Jack. Let me close my door. So look, let's start at the bottom level. it was an explanation, right, that I read in college. And the explanation, man, that shit was so crazy to me, bro. Because when I read the explanation that Plato had from back then, it was relevant to how Malcolm X was killed, to how people like Fred Hampton was killed, and how all these leaders, not just black leaders, but how a bunch of leaders are killed for speaking out, and how, you know what I'm saying, and preaching the things that they preach, and leading in the ways that they lead. So I'm gonna read it, right? So listen, I want to explain it first, because if I read this, it's gonna be hard to follow along. So let me explain it in my own words. No book, no nothing. Let me explain it in my own words. Take a look at how this person is covering their eyes from that light, right? Now imagine this. What we about to read is going to be like an explanation of it, but I'm going to put it in my own words because it's going to make more sense. The way it's explained. Capri, I appreciate the 2 months up. I'm about to turn the notice off so I don't lose my train of thought. So like I was saying though, let's start backwards. Or let's start from the top to bottom. These people are sitting on the wall, right? That's the only thing they know in life. That's all they know in life. They only know what they're being shown, they only know what they're being taught, and they only know what they see and hear. But what they see and hear is coming from another source. It's not coming from their direct ability to perceive reality as it is. But they don't even know that. You know why? Because it's all they know. So they don't even know that their reality is a false form of reality, because it's all they know. You don't know that you don't know. Chat, do that make sense? Because that's an important detail right there. They don't know that they don't know. You see what I'm saying? They don't know that they don't know. They know that's all they know. And then the thing that happens here, with the future detail I'm going to get to, is that since they don't know that they don't know, they have become very attached to this perception of a reality that they have. These shadows on the wall is all I know. It's real. To me, it's real. That's their reality, right? Now, you know, we talk about them perceiving reality and their reality is an illusion, but that would just undermine the fact that they don't know that it's an illusion. How is it an illusion if they don't know? We know. We can look at it and be like, oh yeah, they're just blindsided. But the whole point of the illusion and the whole point of them being stuck on that wall and so attached to their reality is that they don't even know it's an illusion. It's real to them. And an example of this could be, let's imagine somebody spend their whole life. And like I said, this is where we're going to get into the 3 levels of the mental complexity. It's about to be a long talk, chat. It's about to be a long, deep talk. And the 3 levels of mental complexity, the lowest level of mental complexity is the socialized mind. Let me read that. Let me get into that one. Right? Let me read the socialized mind. These people right here are on the socialized mind, that lowest level of mental complexity. It's 3 levels. We're going to get to it when it makes sense. The socialized mind. It says, we are shaped by the definitions and expectations of our personal environment. Our self coheres by its alignment with and loyalty to that with which it identifies. This meaning system can express itself primarily through our relationships with people, with schools of thought, or both. Let me know if y'all understand that, chat. Let me know if that makes sense, or y'all want me to put it in my own words. Or yeah, let me know if y'all want me to connect it and show how it's like a, you know what I'm saying, break it down how the connection is there. I'll put it in my own words. Look, I'm going to read it one more time, and then I'm going to put it in my own words. And then I'm going to go back to how it's connected to those people on the lowest level of this cave. This part. We only right here, chat. We ain't even get to the whole everything yet. I got to break down bit by bit, because what's going to happen is y'all going to look back and everything going to click. Everything just going to be like, yo. But watch. I got y'all. Hold on. Listen. The socialized mind. What I'm saying is that these people on this lowest level of the cave, the people who are looking at the projections on the wall, that's the reality that they know. That's all they know in life. They don't even know that they don't know that it's fake. So it's real to them, right? They're on the level of the socialized mind. The socialized mind is, here's the textbook definition. I'm going to put it in my own words after this. It says, we are shaped by the definitions and expectations of our personal environment. Our self coheres by its alignment with and loyalty to, keyword loyalty to, that with which it identifies. Let's do it sentence by sentence. That's what I'm going to do and break it down in my own words. For the first sentence, we are shaped by the definitions and expectations of our personal environment. Meaning, I'm going to just make up an example. My name is Timmy. I grew up in a Christian household my entire life. We go to church 3 times a week. And you know what I'm saying? My dad's a pastor or something like that. That is him being shaped by the definitions and expectations of his environment. He is a church boy, a Christian boy. He's supposed to live a certain kind of way. He's supposed to think and act a certain kind of way because of the expectations and the definitions of his environment. Chat, let me know if you get that first sentence. Let me know if it's making sense before I go to the next sentence. That's basically what that part means. He said W to me. But look, right? All right, second sentence, right? Our self coheres by its alignment with and loyalty to that with which it identifies. The key to this sentence is coheres by its alignment with and loyalty to. That loyalty part speaks in terms that just like these people on this level of cave, just like Timmy, you know what I'm saying, growing up, that's all he knows. That's what he identifies with, bro. He identifies with being a Christian boy. His father's a pastor. He goes to church 3 times a week. That's all the life he knows. He might be a Democrat. He might be a Republican, whatever the case may be. His self, that identity of his self, they call it the socialized mind, because everything about him does not come from him. Everything about him comes from his socialized life. His family, his environment, his relationships to other people, his affiliations to organizations. That's where the loyalty to comes in. He's loyal to this identity. He's loyal to everything he knows and everything he was taught in his entire reality. So chat, let me know if that second sentence makes sense. Let me know if y'all caught up on that. Let me know if that is, or y'all want me to explain that a little more, if that makes sense. Making sense? We cool? But isn't that for everyone? That's the thing. That's why I said Timmy. Timmy is young. By that time in his life, he's not really thinking for himself yet. He's not questioning his environment. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. And we're going to get to how some people die before they ever reach the 3rd level of mental complexity. Some people just literally be 90 years old and they stay stuck on the 2nd level or the 1st level. Some people don't even make it out of the 1st level of mental complexity. Explain more. Basically, because Timothy has that entire environment he grew up in, and his family, his friends, his lifestyle, he's attached to that because that's all he knows. Just like anybody else would be at his age. That's just all he knows. He's Christian. He's a Democrat or Republican. He's, let's say he's black or Jamaican or white or whatever the case may be. That's his culture. Now you know what I'm saying? He's so attached to his identity. And the identity is called the socialized mind because this is the identity he was given from his environment, his experiences, his social life. Exactly. So going into the next sentence, it says, this meaning system can express itself primarily through our relationships with people, with schools of thoughts, or both. Now for this sentence, when it says it can express itself, meaning how does his mind manifest? How does his experience and how does his socialized self and how does this version of Timothy, how does it manifest? How do you see it? Like, how do you see it? You see it through how he thinks, his school of thought. He thinks, how he's taught to think. Oh, don't do that because that's a sin. Don't do that because that's wrong. Don't do that because, you know what I'm saying, that's what he knows and how he subjectively views things, and that's how he lives life, basically. And then it says through our relationships with people, how he respects his father, how he respects his mother, how he respects strangers, how he thinks of strangers. Let's say Timothy is a part of the KKK. His relationships with people, this idea will express itself because let's say the KKK looks at gay people or Jewish people in a certain light. That's a manifestation of his socialized mind. I'm just saying, Timothy is an imaginary person. But going back to this picture, this Allegory of the cave, when you're on this level These people are looking at these shadows, the projections on the walls, and that's all they know in life. And they don't know anything other than that, and they don't question anything else, and they don't think no other type of way. That's because that's all they know. And they don't know that they don't know. Right? We're going to use Timothy, but don't lose light. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep Timothy as a progression of this, right? Because, oh my God, it's actually a perfect example. I never even thought of using a person. Every time I explain it, I'll just explain it in terms. Let's keep Timothy in mind. Keep Timothy in mind. Timothy is in the KKK. He's a Christian boy. He goes to work. He goes to church 3 times a week. His family is very strict on it. Read the Bible every night type shit. Like that's Timothy. Now, there are various forms of this. Not all examples are extreme as Timmy. We could look at somebody that grew up in the hood. We could look at somebody who grew up in the suburbs. We could look at somebody that grew up in a rural area, or whatever the case may be. Let's just stick with Timothy, though. So Tim is manipulated by society. He's not manipulated. Timothy is not being manipulated by society. He just is a blank slate, and they're putting things on him. It's not manipulating him. In a sense, you could say he's a puppet. He's being controlled by it, but he just doesn't even know. He's being shaped by it. That's more so accurate. He's programmed, exactly. So this is why people talk about like bots and sheep and all these kind of things. But let's keep going. Let's keep going, right? And then we get to this next level with it. Then we get to this next part of this cave. These people holding these projections, these shapes, that is the environment which is shaping him, what he's being taught and how he's being taught. Now, with that being said, that's speaking to his relationships, his environment, his family, what he identifies as a white Christian male, or a KKK member, or whatever the case may be, whatever he identifies with, bro. Right? These are the projections which are teaching him how to think and how he thinks. That's why they're consuming them shadows and the projections. It's coming from this. Now, the fire is going to play a big part in relationship to the sun when I get further down the line. But it's not going to make sense yet, so I'm not even going to mention it. Just keep in mind how the fire is the reason that they're seeing the projections on the wall, and how the fire is, in a sense, light. But it's not true light. The true light is the sun. So this metaphorically speaks in terms of enlightenment. So it's not a fake sun. It's fake enlightenment. It's having a fake source of light, but you're not truly enlightened yet. Because the real light is the sun. But you're looking at a fake light, so you're not enlightened yet by the sun. Y'all see how it's like literal pictures? It's not fake woke, because it's not like he's pretending to be woke. He just doesn't even know it's a fake light. But when he sees the real light, that's when he becomes enlightened. The real version of reality. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going, chat. Let's keep going. Oh, let me check some shit. Like I said, I ordered food just like 9 minutes away. Alright, look. Going up into this part, we can get to the second level of the socialized mind. Not the second level of socialized mind, the second level of mental complexity. You see these people these people right here are climbing out and made it to the top, or some on this level. It's a difference between the people that are on this level and the people that are outside looking around. And I'm going to make that clear in a couple seconds. Going back to this, they all started in the cave looking at these projections on the wall. They eventually started, like some people slipped away and climbed their way out and then made it enough to where they could go outside. But listen, it's important to look at the small details. I told y'all to notice how this guy right here, or this girl, I can't tell, they're blocking their face, and they just have long hair. This person right here is blocking and covering their eyes. They're covering their eyes. Do you know why? They can't handle the light yet. That sounds so simple. That sounds so simple, chat, right? They can't handle the light yet, so they have to protect their eyes, or their eyes will get burned, or it will damage their vision. They can't handle the light. It's too bright. That is metaphorically speaking in terms to the truth, or true reality, or looking at things objectively and being enlightened. You can't, exactly like a lot of y'all saying, you can't handle the truth yet. So you can't just go from this false sense of reality and just go straight to the sun. You'll be blind, damn near. You can't just shift it like that. So in the book, they talk about how a person who is on their way out of the cave, or on their way to see the true light and become enlightened, they give another metaphor to say that at nighttime, they can't even look at the moon. The moon is too bright. So they have to look at the moon through a reflection of the water. because they can't even look at the sun is way too bright for them. That true enlightenment is way too much for them. There's too much truth they can't handle yet. So they have to work their way up. Then they can look at the moon first. Then they can't even look at the moon, so they got to look at a reflection of the moon in a pond or a lake or something like that. Y'all know what I'm saying, like how the moon might be in the sky and you can see it in the water. That's all they can handle. That just basically speaks in terms of that they can't just jump out of their perception of the reality, that false illusion, and go straight to enlightenment. It would be too much for them. They can't even handle it. They'll go crazy or they'll be blind or whatever the case may be. Now, at this level though, where you have the person who's blocking their eyes, that person has two choices. What are their two choices, chat? And so I'm going to bring y'all in the process. They have two choices. There are two choices at this point. Go out or go in. Exactly. Either I can face the truth or you know what I'm saying, really accept it. Red pill, blue pill, exactly. The Matrix type thing, where it's like I can go back to what I know, go back to what's comfortable for me to know. And the key word is comfortable. It's uncomfortable to stare at the sun. It's uncomfortable to see the light. It hurts your eyes. It blinds you. It's uncomfortable. It's a hurt. The process hurts. It's not easy. So they can go back to what they know and what's comfortable, their daily habits, their lifestyle, whatever they identify with, their normal environment. Or they can choose to go through the pain that it comes with seeing the truth and seeing reality for what it is. Right? So that's their two choices at that point. And then we can get into the second level of the 3 levels of mental complexities. Right? Boom. This level is called the self-authoring mind. Right? This one says, we are able to step back enough from the social environment to generate an internal seat of judgment or personal authority that evaluates and makes choices about external expectations. I already know I'm finna have to explain that. So let me know if anybody got it, or y'all want me to break that down in my own words. I already know that was a longer sentence. I got y'all. I already know. I'm gonna read it again. Like I said, that was literally one sentence, chat. That was the first sentence. That's why with each of these mental complexities, bro, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. That's why you have to do it from top to bottom. I mean, from bottom to top, because the third one is not going to make sense if you don't understand it in relation to the first one. So you lost me, bro. Explain it. All right, look, chat. I literally ordered some food a long time ago. The food is getting closer and closer. So I can't even talk too much yet because I'm about to have to go downstairs to grab the food. So I'm about to just read it again. I'm gonna read the full thing. Let it sit on y'all, and then when I come back, we're going to do it back sentence by sentence. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to just read the whole Socialized Mind. I'm going to read the whole paragraph. It says, we are able to step back enough from the social environment to generate an internal seat of judgment or personal authority that evaluates and makes choices about external expectations. Our self coheres in its alignment with its own belief system, ideology, personal code. By its ability to self-direct, take stands, set limits, and create and regulate its boundaries on behalf of its own voice. That is the full paragraph, chat. It about like this thing. He said, bro, what? Oh man, like I said, I'm gonna let that sit there. Because I'm about to have to go down the stairs. Alright, chat. We back, man. We back. Gaze the time. Y'all funny as hell. Like I said, this one I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna do it like I did last time. We're using Timmy. Timmy is our white Christian boy. Father is a pastor. Goes to church 3 times a week. Reads the Bible every night before he goes to sleep. This is all he knows. This is his life. This is his environment. You know what I'm saying? Timmy does and thinks through this environment and through this school of thought, because the first level is called the socialized mind. His mind is like this. He acts like this. His whole personality and identity is loyal to what he has learned and how he has learned to be. His mind is socialized. They call that the socialized mind. That's the lowest level. Secondly, the second level is called the self-authoring mind. It's a level above that socialized mind. And we're going to get into how and all the details. Now, reading this, right? It says, for the self-authoring mind, we are able to step back enough from the social environment to generate an internal seat of judgment or personal authority that evaluates and makes choices about external expectations. Like I said, we're going to break this down sentence by sentence. The first paragraph is only like 32 sentences. It's just long ass sentences. Right? Let's get into that one. How it says we are able to step back enough from our social environment, meaning on that level of socialized mind, Timothy acts how he acts, he thinks how he thinks, and he speaks how he speaks. All that is from what he was taught. He's literally a programmed bot on that level. On this second level, the differences start coming in with his level of self-awareness. He is still attached to this school of thought. He still is connected to his identity from his environment. But at this point in his life, let's say he got older enough, let's say he matured enough to realize that this environment is not the end all be all. He's starting to see its limitations a little bit, right? But he's still attached to it, and he still feels as though it is quote unquote right, or this is how he should be living. But the idea is that he now is no longer like, for example, a lot of people have guilt complexes in them and they don't even realize it because of the religion that they grew up learning. For example, don't do that because that's a sin. Don't do that because that's the devil, or that's that, or whatever religion you worship, and however they painted that picture in your head. Don't do that, you won't go to hell, or don't do that because I'm trying to go to heaven, or I can't do that. That is that programmed level of the mind of thinking. The second level is he still kind of sees life like that, like I don't want to do that because that's a sin, or I don't want to do that because that's wrong, or that's that. But he still is aware of his own decisions. So, for example, let's say he drinks one day or he smokes. He'll feel guilty about it, but he'll realize that he made his own choice. Like he's starting to live his own life at this point. He is still attached to his environment. So he's not as strict as he used to be when he was younger. Timmy is not as strict as he used to be when he was younger. Right? He's not like, I'm going to just, read the Bible every night or go to church 50 million times a week, or I'm going to wear my tie with my buttoned up all the way to the top, and I can't curse or anything like that. He's not super like programmed and attached to it. He's starting to make his own decisions. He's starting to live more freely, right? Now, going back to the allegory of the cave and how this is connected to this level of thinking, a lot of people get stuck on this level. A lot of people get stuck on the first level. They just maintain that program bot their entire life. They never question their own school of thought. They never even break out of that, right? They stay on the wall of the cave looking at the projections. Let me drag this up a little bit. Looking at those projections forever, right? That's the majority of the population. When people start to come to that level of enlightenment where they can actually see the things, like I said, on that second level where the person is like blocking their eyes because they have two choices now: face the true light and enlightenment, or go back to what they're used to knowing. So that's why it's a whole comfort thing where it's uncomfortable, and it really changes your life once you question everything. Once you give, like, you have to, essentially on this level, you have to be able to step out of your own shoes. You have to be able to look at yourself from a third person point of view. And that's very hard. That's very hard for people to take themselves out of their own shoes and in the shoes of another person and question themselves, assuming that they're wrong. Assuming that the way they're living is wrong. Do you know why? Because it's all they know. Or shit, we do stuff like that because that's just how we always get it done. That's how we live. That's just how you live wrong. Something's wrong with you. That's the easy way to do things. Why do they live like that? Why he wear his shoes like that? Why he sag his pants like that? Why? Oh, he Muslim. I'm Christian. Oh, no, they on the wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the whole comfort part where it's like you have to kind of be able to give up your own perspective, your own seat of thinking, and realize that there are other ways of thinking out there. Like I said, this is not the highest level yet, because y'all gonna see the difference between the highest level and the second level, and this shit is night and day, right? But I'm gonna read even further. Chad, let me know if the second level is making more sense to you, because there's a whole like chunks of it where it's like it is explained even further in the book. But that's just basically my words. Right? So let's get into it, right? It says, let's contrast this with the self-authoring mind. If I view the world from this level of mental complexity, right now it's comparing the first level with the second level. That level where you're a programmed bot to the second level where you're starting to become more of an individual, right? I'm going to read this and we're going to go back and talk about it, right? We're still on that second level. But it's comparing it back to the first level, just to give you the context. Let's contrast this with the self-authoring mind. If I view the world from this level of mental complexity, what I send is more likely to be a function of what I deem others need to hear to best further the agenda or mission of my design. Meaning, I'm Christian, I'm a part of the KKK, I'm a white male, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, we're sticking with Timmy here. And it's going to make more sense when we get to the third level. We're at this level of the cave, right? When those people talk on that level, or that first level of the mind, when they sit there and they spit hate crimes and they spit these super conservative ways, what they are doing is saying that their design, and a design is, in basic terms, a design is how you live life, basically. Your entire viewpoint, your entire perspective. That's your design, or your way of thinking, basically. It's your design. That's how they're trying to refer to it as. And the key with that idea that what I send is likely a function of my design, or what I deem others need to know or hear to best further the agenda or mission of my design, that means that here's my reality, right? My reality is shadows on the wall of the cave. So if I encounter somebody else, what am I going to teach them or talk to them about? Shadows on the wall of the cave. I'm a Christian KKK boy. I believe something is wrong with being Jewish, something is wrong with being gay, whatever the case may be. That's that design. That's that program level bot of thinking, right? So they are stuck on that level of thinking and they're preaching that to other people. That's because they're furthering their design, their agenda. You know what I'm saying? And why? Because they're so attached to that design, that agenda, that perspective, that closed-minded way of thinking, that they can't even see no other way of thinking. So they preach that on everyone else. They send it to everyone else. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole part about sending it. Now, it says, consciously or unconsciously, I have a direction, an agenda, a stance, a strategy, an analysis of what is needed, a prior context from which my communication arises. Meaning, I'm conservative. I think however I think, right? I think that way for a reason. I know you think differently. Or even if I don't know you think differently, right? I'm just so attached with the way I think and I see things, the way I believe and perceive life, and the way I was taught to perceive life and all that, that I'm projecting that throughout the world, consciously or unconsciously, whether I'm trying to make you think like me or whether I'm not trying. I'm just being me, right? So, it says I have a direction, agenda, stance, strategy, and analysis of what is needed. That's just speaking in terms of when somebody disagrees with me, I know exactly what I need to say. Or not that I know exactly what I need to say to convince them, but I know what I'm going to say. Oh boy, you just need to get back to God. Oh my brother, come back to church, please. You're losing your way. Oh, you lost, son. You wearing skirts now. You got nail polish on your nails, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically like that kind of shit. Oh my God, they got the man twerking and it's just society is so crazy. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Like they're on that type time. That's basically what it's saying when that sentence. Now, it says, my direction. Chay, let me know if y'all follow along. Let me know if everything is making sense. Everything is connecting to Timmy in a real life example, and then it's even connecting to back to the picture. Let me know. I'm on all three levels. You can't be. You can go from 2 to 1 and 1 to 2, but once you make it to 3, there's no going back. There's no going back once you make it to 3. And that's why I said once we get to the third level of mental complexity, once we it's all going to be like, yo, it all clicks. It all clicks. And that's why, like I said, that person covering their eyes and the person who can see the sun, there's going to be this whole thing I'm going to bring up about how Plato talked about how somebody would go back in the cave and how they will be killed for it, or how they would watch. It's gonna get deep, chat. This is chat. We haven't even barely started yet. Chat. Would y'all even believe I'm literally just getting started? Would y'all even believe that I'm just getting started in this explanation? Ain't even getting there yet. Watch. I ain't even I'm telling you. It's only in this reference. It's only 3 levels of mental complexity, and it's basically like levels of consciousness and how you perceive your reality, everything around you. Let's get to it though, right? Let's keep reading. I'm not even out of the first paragraph, out of the first explanation of the self-authoring mind. We didn't even make it out of the cave yet. We're still on the shadows on the wall. I'm telling y'all, we ain't even done yet, bro. So look, it says, my direction or plan may be an excellent one, or it may be riddled with blind spots. Remember that key word, blind spots. These matters implicate other aspects of the self. Meaning, by me projecting how I believe, and by me projecting how I think and how I feel and how my society and how my environment has shaped me, this is a projection of myself. I may be arrogant. So me telling you and teaching you and thinking you're wrong is a projection of that arrogance. I may be selfish. Me not even wanting to be empathetic with you. So it's just a projection of all the qualities that you have that have came that you don't even realize. That you don't even realize, bro. I'm telling you, but we're going to get to it though. Right? It says, but mental complexity strongly influences whether my information sending is oriented toward getting behind the wheel in order to drive, or getting myself included in the car so I can be driven. That is a powerful connection on the difference between the first level and the second level. That is the difference between the first level and that second level in the metaphor of a car or driving. Chat, let me know if that car part makes sense. Or let me know if y'all want me to put that on my own words, or, you know what I'm saying, break that down. Let me know, bro. 'Cause today I got time, cuz. There you go. You either have someone think for you or you think for yourself. Let's get into it, though. Right? Let's get into it. And that's why I said when we get to the third one, I'm going to have to take a deep breath, because I'm like, damn, finally. Listen. But mental complexity, like I said, in this part is 3 levels of mental complexity, right? But mental complexity strongly influences whether my information sending is oriented towards, like, what is the goal? Whether the goal is getting behind the wheel in order to drive, the self-authoring mind, or getting myself included in the car so I can be driven. Whether I'm driving myself, meaning like whether I control my way of thinking, or whether I know and am aware of my way of thinking, and I know I'm thinking this way and I keep thinking this way. Or do I just get in the car and I'm just a passenger? I don't even care where I'm going. And that's why, sadly, even though this second level is higher than the first level, it can almost be worse. Because you chose to go that way. Like I said, that level, they have 2 choices. They either go back in the cave or they walk out. So it's one thing if Timmy's 6 or 8 years old and his parents program him to be the way he is. He doesn't have a choice yet. But it's another thing if he's older and he still chooses to be this way. So he's not a passenger of the car. He's not included or trying to be included in the car and following wherever. By being a passenger, he doesn't know where the car is going. He has no control in the direction that the car is going, and he might know where the car is going, but he has no control. The self-authoring mind, self-authorized. They have some control, right? And we ain't even halfway done through the explanation of the self-authoring mind. I'm just keeping track so y'all can follow along with some order. Like I said, they're the driver, but they don't know where they're going, or they don't know why they're going where they're going. But they're still driving or sending these thoughts and the projections of what they learned and how they learn to be. That's the key, though. Now let's keep going, chat. Let me know if it's making chat. Y'all follow along? Is it making sense? Is that clear now? I'm saying, let me know, because I don't want to skip past something. I don't want to keep getting it further, and it's people like, yo, I'm lost, bro. Go back. Or is it something that I explained or talk past that y'all want to make more sense? All right, good. All right, plugs, don't touch this, because I might even post this full thing to my YouTube channel, and this might be like literally a fucking 2-hour video. But I never put nothing like this on the channel, and I think it's time that people see this side of myself, because this is who I really am 99% of the time. We talking content and reactions and stuff like that, that's something else. But this is really who I am, bro. So I got all these, like, bro, this is more true to myself than anything that y'all ever seen from me. But let's keep going, though. Let's keep going. We can see a similar mindset operating when receiving as well. Can a mod change the title to, like, plug, don't touch or some shit? Put it in front of, or after Allegory the Cave or some shit. Just so the plugs know, you know what I'm saying? Because I never put like nothing like this on my main channel. It says, we can see a similar mindset operating when receiving as well. Keep in mind, chat, there's this idea of sending information or receiving information. So it's about to get into that. People on that self-authoring mind or socialized mind, they send stuff out. They talk what they were taught. They preach what they were taught. They experience what they were taught. They live what they were taught. Now, I'm going to say a disclaimer that there's nothing wrong with being Christian. There's nothing wrong with being white. There's nothing wrong with being, like, let's say, like, all the things that I identify Temmie with is just an imaginary person. So I can show y'all what it means to have, like, an identity or some shit. Like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with your religion or nothing like that. I'm not attacking that. We're just connecting this to this philosophy and this explanation. Now, look. The self-authoring mind creates a filter for what it will allow to come through. That is the most important part. That is the most important part of this entire fucking 3 levels of my mental complexity. That one sentence is the most important part in the differences between all 3 of them. I swear to God. I swear to God, that is the most important part. If you remember anything, remember that. Remember that. Remember that. Let me read it one more time. The self-authoring mind creates a filter, keyword filter, for what it will allow to come through. And that's why the second level is not the highest level, because they still have that filter. So they send the information through that their limited perspective and their, you know what I'm saying, their self. But even when they're receiving information, even when they're reacting to their environment and going through all these things, they have a filter for how much they can handle. They have a filter. Exactly. That arm is a filter. Therefore, like I said, it goes back to the picture. They come to this part of the cave. They're at a higher level than the bots, than the programmed sheep at the bottom. But they can't take all the light yet. They can't receive the true enlightenment yet. Their filter gives them what they can handle. Imagine a cup, or like, no, not a cup is not a good thing. Let's say a rubber band. Once a rubber band stretches so much, it will break. That breaking part is the part people can't handle, and they know they can't handle. It's painful. Like I said, like Rika said, a lot of people are gonna have an existential crisis if they truly think about this shit. I'm talking about this shit and teaching y'all this shit. But if you really go through the process of this, you will damn near get to the point where you like don't even believe in nothing. You just like your whole life will be a mess. But that's good, because it must have crumbled down in order to be built back up. You know why? Because it's not your fault. It's not Timmy's fault that he thinks this way and he's programmed this way. It's not this person's fault that they can't control or they can't perceive the true reality yet. It's not their fault. They were born into it. It's not their fault. You were born in the hood. You were born into this family. You were born into this culture. Whatever the case may be, it's not your fault. So I'm not shaming. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with none of this. I'm just saying it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep going, though, chat. Let's keep going. Right? Now, hold on. I'm going to start recording now so I don't have to, go through the whole vibe. Now, wait, where did I take off yet? All right. Next and important is information whose relevance to my plan, stance, or frame is immediately clear. Information I haven't asked for and which does not have obvious relevance to my own design or action, has a much tougher time making it through my filter. And this is what I talked about when I said that he's not at that highest level of mental complexity yet. He still rejects information. He still can't handle like opposite truths. He can't handle other perspectives. He can't handle knowing that somebody else is right. He still wants to know that he's right. He still wants to know that he's driving this car in the right direction. They have control now, right? They're at a higher level now. They're not as much of a programmed sheep, but they're still so attached to this identity. They're still so attached to this self that they still will reject and debate and neglect other information that is not obviously supporting their agenda or their school or way of thinking. Now let's keep going, Chad. Let's keep going. Now, it is easier to it is easy to see how all of this could describe an admirable capacity for focus, for distinguishing the important from the urgent, for making best use of one's limited time by having a means to cut through the unending and ever-mounting claims on one's attention. Basically, it's saying that it's kind of empathizing with the second level or Timmy at that level, because it's saying, yo, it's not easy to be aware of everything. It's not easy to just challenge your whole reality and challenge your whole level of consciousness and challenge your whole everything you've learned up until this point. It's not easy. I understand that. You might not be ready to give it up yet. You might not, you know what I'm saying? So it's basically saying that a lot of times people live their everyday life and they don't even have the time to become enlightened because they're just so in the flow. They're so just in traffic. That was a big thing in the movie The Matrix, where people had that like whatever job and they just went to work, went to the club, went to this, went to that. They go to the gym, they do this, they do the same habits in life and everything they do in life. They don't have time to question their existence. They don't have, like, you know what I'm saying? Like so that's what they're saying in the book. It's like, it's just what they know. They don't have time for this shit. And that's how, like I said, it's not your fault, because life doesn't give us time for this shit. You go to school, what, 7 to 3 p.m. You might have a sport you play after that. 3 to 5. You're not getting home to 6. You're already tired and burnt out. You have homework when you go home. Now it's like 9, 10 o'clock. You're tired. You might want to play the game. You might want to go outside. You might want to go to a party. Now you go back to sleep. You wake up. You're doing the same thing again. Or for an adult, a 9 to 5. You burnt out by the time you get home. You might got a family. You got to cook for your family. You got to feed your family. You gotta do whatever. You might have a community service. You don't have time. So that's basically what that sentence meant when it said that it is easy to see how all of this can describe an admirable capacity for focus, meaning they just so focused and determined on their life and you know what I'm saying, continuing that is pretty admirable. Like they got this shit on locks. They preach what they preach. They teach what they teach. They live the way they live their life the way they live it, right? For distinguishing the important from the urgent, for making the best use of one's limited time by having a means to cut through the unending. Keywords. Unending. Hold on, I just lost the part of unending and ever mounting claims on one's attention. Meaning, for example, I got Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Tinder, chat. Name more apps that I didn't name. We have all these apps out. Listen, these apps, or let's say CNN, the news, whatever the case may be, these apps have nothing to do. Excuse me. They have nothing to do with our already regularly established life. They can be a part of it, right? But like I said, you might have a 9 to 5. You might go to school from 7 to 3. Or you might have practice or an extra program. You might have kids, a family, Reddit, whatever the case may be. You already have this going on. And now you have 10 plus different social media apps which are made to make your brain an addict for dopamine, addicted to short attention spans. and to just have your mind be programmed and plugged into the matrix and the screen, you literally just, like I said, you don't even have time. You don't have time for everything, especially challenging your existence, questioning your life. You don't have time for that. Right? You see what I'm saying? So you might look at your phone, and your phone might tell you, you spending 12 hours a day on your phone, 8 hours a day on your phone. I know iPhones have that function. 11 hours a day on your phone, and 9 hours, 7 hours a day on your phone. That's on top of what you already might have been doing that day. You see what I'm saying? No, schemer, that's not level 3. That's not level 3 schemer. Schemer, level 3 is not about not caring and only doing you and stuff like that. Level 3 is even further than that. Level 3 is so deep and so lovely. And I love level 3. I love every detail about level 3 so much, bro. And I remember when I was reading this and I went to my professor the next day and I was like, yo, I never read something speak to me so directly to my soul, bro. I never had something, bro, I told you. That was literally like the first month of the course. I wrote my entire thesis on this shit. 33 pages. Everything I saw in life. Because it gave me even more self-awareness to realize that these different levels, it just put a name to a face, essentially. Seeing myself and knowing that I'm in level 3, but it spoke on the details. Like all the details of level 3 and the way I thought already, it was like, yo, I never had something speak to me like this. I never had something get me to the letter like this. I'm telling you, when y'all get to level 3, that shit gonna blow your fucking mind. Especially when I explain it. And apologize for the cursing, like I'm saying, because we have an intellectual talk right now. Let's get to it. I personally am in the level 3, but like I said, it's reasons behind that. When I explain why, and I explain why I believe I'm in level 3, we're gonna get to it. Like I said, we're halfway finished through level 2, so let's stay on track. But I'm just giving y'all that kind of like sneak peek to it. Is crazy. So let's keep going, right? It says, this speaks to the way that the self-authoring mind is an advance over the socialized mind, right? But this same description may also be a recipe for disaster. If one's plan or stance is flawed in some way, if it leaves out some crucial element of the equation not appreciated by the filter, or if the world changes in such a way that once a good frame becomes antiquated over, or becomes an antiquated one. That's one sentence. I swear to God, that was one sentence. That was one sentence, bro. So basically, it now is getting to how even level 2, even though it's a step over level 1, it's still flawed. It still is not the highest level. But like I said, some people don't even make it to level 2 in the mental complexities. Some people don't even get out of level 2, or some people don't even make it to level 2. But now speaking on the terms of the flaws of level 2, that's why I told y'all to remember when I said the word design in the ideology of the word filter. The word filter and design, right? Design being like how they perceive everything around them, their design, how it's programmed to be, whatever the case may be, how they perceive life. And that filter is like when they receive information, their filter decides what can make it through or not. But the fact that they have a filter is the flaw. It's the problem in this level. That they're filtering information. They only filter stuff through which support and pushes their agenda. So they're not the passenger of the car that they're in. They're the driver now, but they're not willing to go a different direction. They're not really willing to accept that they may be going the wrong direction, or that they shouldn't even be driving in the first place. Right? So they have more control over the level 1, but there still is the flaws and the gaps in that. So let me know if y'all making sense. Let me know if this is making sense. Let me know if this is making sense, bro. Let me know if y'all follow along or everything as well. What do you do when you have a strong temptation to go back to your lower self? Realize it's not worth it. That's why most people don't even make it out of level 1, or make it past level 2, or they go to level 2 and go back to level 1. Because it's comfort. It's comfort being how you were always as a child and how you grew up in your environment. It's comfortable staying in it. That's why I said some people die in level 1. Swear to God, some level 3 is like damn near rare. A lot of leaders who have been on a level 3 of mental complexity have been murdered, died prematurely. Like, bro, this shit is for real, bro. That's why I said when this metaphor came back from whatever BC and it's speaking accurately, like Plato, like I said, there's these 3 level of mental complexities is not Plato's thing. The allegory to the cave is, but the level of mental complexities relates to the cave. Something he wrote about Socrates getting murdered back then, thousands of years ago. It's still accurate to how people get murdered today and how people think today and how the masses of crowds of people are today. You see what I'm saying? He said you see 50 plus year olds still thinking like a teen or a child. It has nothing to do with the age. It's not necessarily thinking like a teen or a child. It's being attached to their environment. It's being attached to their identity. The identity that they may have been given, an identity that they may be aware of and continue to pursue and push or stay within and don't want to see anything else any other way or accept anything else. It's not that they don't accept everything else. It's that they reject it and don't allow space for it. Simply put, being closed-minded. Right? So let's keep going, chat. Let me keep going. Let me turn on the fan, bro. It's starting to get hot in my fucking room. Sheesh! So let me know if y'all ready to keep going, bro. Let me know if y'all ready to keep going. Let me know if y'all ready to keep going, bro. I would say we about halfway through, or like 40% of the way through. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, let's keep going. Like I said, the whole problem with that filter is that they don't even realize that there's a design or the way that they're viewing life is flawed. And they're rejecting the information which might literally help them. Which might literally open their eyes. True enlightenment, which might help them see the real reality. But they're rejecting that information. They're covering their eyes. They're walking back into the cave. They're going back to their former self. Rejecting information that will literally help them. And wake them up, in a sense. Or this might even be in simpler terms. Let's say you're arrogant. You think you're right about everything. So you just challenge and reject someone who's disagrees with you automatically. You don't even want to see. You know enough to know why you're right, but you don't know enough to know why you're wrong. You didn't even consider your own flaws. You don't even want to see your own flaws because you only filter through stuff that supports your agenda, your design, your way of thinking. It's so conservative. Women can't be leaders. Being gay is just this and this. Black people can't do this. And like I said, there's different forms of this and there's different levels of this. It might not just be about race or gender or how people think. It might just be that, let's say you're a business, you run a business, and your employees are trying to tell you, like, yo, bro, you got to stop doing this. No, I run my business how I run it, and I make money on my business. Whole time they're trying to tell you something that can help your business. But you're so closed-minded and so arrogant, and that's why it said, if the world changes in such a way that once good frame, like your way of thinking might have worked, it might have been good. It might have been, I'm not saying that it was always wrong or it was always flawed. But like I said, if the world changes in such a way that a once good frame becomes an antiquated one, that's when you'll crumble, you'll die. And that's where the law of power talked about how the Spartans were such a great warrior nation, but they died in their shell. They made a shell. Their shell got hard and they died in it. They weren't willing to grow, adapt, and evolve. They weren't willing to change. They weren't willing to give and abandon up their old ways because it just worked for so long. And that's all they knew. They're so attached to that identity and their way of living. Like I said, it's not just on the level of being a sheep or a bot, like that type of shit and being programmed. It's all different ways to apply this shit. It's bigger. It's the bigger pictures. I'm telling you. So listen. Now, chat. Let me know. That's the entire self-authorizing mind. Let me know if y'all caught up to the 2 levels of mental complexity. At this point, we're about to get into the self-transferring mind. But before I even dig into that hole, let me know if y'all understand what it means to have a filter. Let me know if y'all understand what it means to have a design. Let me understand if this makes sense. Let me know if y'all ready to go for it. Or ask any questions that might help you understand those first 2 levels yet. Don't even try to think of the higher level. Don't even try to think about that yet. Just understand these. Just understand these two levels and the relationships and the flaws of each other. Chat, do y'all understand the flaw of the second level? Are y'all ready to move forward? How do you truly know what level you are if this is new? Well, once I explain the third level, you'll be able to reflect on yourself and say, damn. I mean, a lot of y'all might have understood that, damn, I might be stuck in the first level. I might be stuck on the second level. Because when somebody challenges my thoughts, I argue back rather than assume I'm wrong. If you can't, listen, here's a clear sign that you don't even look at level 3 yet. You can't see that you're wrong. You don't ask people how you're wrong. Because that's one of the key behaviors of people in level 3. They literally look for their flaws. Level 3 people literally embrace flaws. They embrace holes or flaws in their design. Their way of thinking, their level of thinking, their way they perceive reality. Level 2 drives their ideas. They send information and they filter stuff because they can't accept what they're wrong. A big key factor of that level 3 people is that they embrace their flaws. They're not attached to any way of thinking, any design of thinking, any belief of thinking. They might be Christian, but they might see that Islam or Muslims have some good stuff in their religion. Or they might be Muslim and they might say, yo, I respect the Christian man. Look at how they preach this and how they talk that. I see how they think and I respect it. Or let's say they might have grew up Muslim and Christian and they might be like, hey, it's very close-minded to believe this forever. It's very close. That was wrong. I see that as wrong. So they might not throw their whole religion away, but they might just start to understand. Or they might be the business owner. They might, but the key thing is not that they acknowledge their flaws, is that they embrace them. They challenge their own flaws and ways of system of thinking. They assume they're wrong and they look for what's right in an objective manner. The idea is being objective. So not even, like I said, not even being attached to your personal identity. It has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with the objective truth. Nothing to do with your identity. As long as you stay and attached to that, oh, I'm this person, I'm black, I'm from the hood, and I'm just this and I'm that, and if you stay in that forever, you'll die there, bro. That's why I said some people never make it out of level 1, let alone get to level 2 or even understand. A lot of people, I'm telling you, when I go to level 3, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody here, but a lot of people might not even understand level 3. I'm gonna make it to where you can understand it. I'm gonna try my best. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of people, because the key, and then that's when it's going to go full circle back to Plato's Allegory of the cave. And one of the details he spoke about the cave is that when people reach level 2, and like I said, going into like Malcolm X and then how it's related to how Malcolm X was murdered, or how leaders were murdered, or Socrates was murdered, it was because they were on that level 3 of thinking. And one of the details, before I even explain level 3, he explained that level 3 of way of thinking got them killed because what happens is, as a level 3 thinker and as a level 3 person with that mental complexity, when you go back into the world, when you go back into the cave, when you encounter people who are on this part of the cave, shadows on the wall, that's all they know, that's the reality. When you take your way of thinking, your level of mental complexity to them, it automatically challenges the matrix. It makes them uncomfortable. It challenges, people will not abandon their life as easy as you think they would. Even if you know that the projections on the wall, this shadow of a tree, shadow of a bird, shadow of a vase, the whole time the light is a fake light, it's fire. When in reality, the true light is the birds in the sky, the trees from the ground, the vase in the world. The true light is the sun, that true enlightenment. Even if you know it's the more objective thing, they are not going to give that up so easily. They might be 50 years old, 60, 70, 80 years old, 15 years old. They so identified and so attached to this identity and reality, they are not going to give that up so easily. So when you come back into the cave or you come back to society with that shit, hey, everything you believe in is fake. Nothing you believe in is true. You have a false sense of reality. You don't even know that you don't know. I'm trying to tell you that you don't know. And what Plato mentioned and said is that, oh my God, I can't even wait till I connect level 3 back to this. I'm telling y'all, this shit is so beautiful, bro. I'm about to take a quick leak real quick, bro. But I'm gonna be back, chat. I'm gonna be back. This shit is crazy. Alright, listen, chat. We back. We about to get into it. I hope y'all ready. This one gonna fuck a lot of y'all up. I'm gonna just be honest. It's gonna fuck a lot of y'all up. It's gonna fuck a lot of y'all up. Fast ass speed. My bathroom is literally right next to my door. It's gonna fuck a lot of y'all up. Now look. When it comes to, I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite details about how Plato connected it to level 3, and I mean how level 3 connects to Plato's thing, and why it's my favorite detail. Because Plato even made the metaphor that, y'all remember when I first said when they come out the cave, they're used to looking at shadows on the wall. They can't handle truth. They can't handle sunlight yet. Like this person right here who's covering their eyes. Plato mentioned how this person right here, this person that made it at the top, they can finally look at the world and see it as it truly is. Your eyes will be damaged in a sense, right? So meaning you will never see things the same. That's basically what it meant. Like you will never see things the same. You can't. By being able to see this true sunlight, your eyes, like it got damaged in a sense. Like not damaged as in the word damaged, but damaged in the sense that you can't go back. You will never be able to be on the wall and look at those shadows and then be like, this is reality. You can't go back. Because you just know the true reality. You're enlightened. You just can't go back. So the idea is that this is my favorite detail because it talked about what happens when that person who's at that top and then tries to go back in the cave around people who are not tries to go back and be back there, not like they gave up level 3, but they try to go back to talk to other people. They try to go back to make people aware, like, yo, you need to get up off this. You need to stop looking at the shadows on the wall. This is not real. When they go back and they, in a sense, stir things up and shake things up in the reality that those people are used to having, it talked about how the people in that shadow, since it's the mass, it's the majority. Like I said, some people never even make it out of level 1, let alone out of level 3. Let alone out of level 3. I mean level 2. They don't even make it to level 2, let alone make it past that. But like I said, when that person goes back into that, it talked about how the people would tease him. Not tease him, but bash him. Oh, you left the cave and all you got was bad eyes. Remember, like I said, he said the eyes would be damaged. So in the metaphor of the picture, it was like his eyes are hurt. Like he can't, like a little, his vision a little fucked up now. They think that their eyes are better than his because his eyes got hurt. When in reality, his eyes got hurt because he saw the real light. But they're viewing it as, look at you. All you left the cave just to have your eyes hurt. You a dummy. You should have never left. All you got was damaged eyes. But they don't even know that his eyes got hurt in the process of seeing the world as it truly is and truly being enlightened. They're not even aware of why his eyes is hurt. They're just bashing him for it, and they're just teasing like, you're a dummy, blah 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 blah. And Aristotle talked about how when people are challenged in this way and challenged on these ways, I'm gonna get into it, but that was one of my favorite details of how he compared like his vision, his literal eyesight being hurt from looking at the sun, to how their eyes handle the darkness, and they would tease him and talk shit on him and bash him to the point where they even want to kill him for coming back and try to challenge their whole reality. Now, Chat, are y'all ready for level 3? Talk to me. Are y'all ready for level 3? In this level 3, I did a whole presentation, a project on it. I wrote a whole 33-page paper on this shit. Listen, let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. Let me take a bite of this food. Let me see what it's talking about. But like I said, ask questions now. If you have a question, if something is stuck on you, right now is the best time to ask it. But if it's about level 3, I won't read the question. Damn, food good as fuck. I can't wait to dig this. Alright, listen. Now, with everything in time, I'm on level 3, but not level 3 is not some sort of haha level 2. Being on level 3 is not some sort of haha level 2. You know why? Because as a person, and it's not even like, it even sounds like some ego. I'm on level 3. It's not like being over someone or under someone. It's just mental complexity. It's just how people view the world, right? Don't look at it as like better or worse or I'm better and bigger than nobody. That's not how it works. Level 3 is literal torture in hell. Because as someone who sees things that way, when you encounter people who think on level 1 and level 2, you kind of have to accept the fact that you might not be able to raise their consciousness, or you might not be able to have them challenge their viewpoints and get them to think open-minded or get them to see the flaws in their system thinking. Like I said, people die on those levels. They will die, be 90 years old and still be on level 1 as a socialized mind. And like I said, a level 3 does not judge level 1 and say, ha, level 1 or nothing. You know why? Because it's not the people's fault that they're on that level. Everybody started there. Everybody started there. You grew up in a household. You might have had a certain religion in the household. Your family, your environment, your people in your neighborhood. Everybody starts there. Right? So it's not some judgmental thing like, oh, I'm better than, like I said. Let's just keep going though. Like I said, if y'all ready, I'm ready to get into it on God. Going back to the front paragraph. I'm going to go back to the front short version of it, and then we're going to read the full page, and then that's when we go through the full page, it's going to come in my own words, and everything going to go together. Right? But y'all want my words first, or y'all want to read everything and then me put it in my words? I believe if I put it in my words first, it might low-key make more sense when I'm reading it, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. So I think I should just read it first. I'm gonna just read it first. We're gonna do the paragraph thing, and then we're gonna get to the actual full page. Right? Now, the self, this is what the third level is called. It's called the self-transforming mind. The self-transforming mind. So you have the socialized mind, the self-authoring mind, and then the self-transferring mind. I told y'all to remember a couple key things. I'm going to say it right now in case somebody just got here. You want to remember the idea of a design and the idea of a filter. Number 1, can't even conceive the filter yet. Number 2, has a filter because that filter decides what gets in and out, what information it can receive, and what it will allow to challenge its design. What is the design? The design is essentially how they see the world, how they think about things, and just how they perceive reality overall. This is going to become more important in level 3, and it's all, like I said, it's all going to click. It's all going to click. But I'm trying to break it down as much as I can because, like I said, some people just won't even be able to understand why level 3 is the way it is and how it goes. But as somebody that thinks like this, I can just easily put it in my own words. Let's go. Self-transforming mind. We can step back from and reflect on the limits of our own ideology or personal authority. We see that any one system or self-organization is in some way partial or incomplete. And before I even go even further, chat, does that make sense? Is that clear? I think that was pretty self-explanatory. If anybody wants me to explain that to me, wants me to explain that, let me know. There's no problem with that. Just you know what I'm saying? Or y'all want me to read it again, or y'all want me to put it in my own words? This is how we did it last time. Alright, so listen, I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to put it in my own words, right? Self-transferring mind. Like I said, remember on level 2, they had that filter. They're attached. They're still attached to their reality and their perception of reality and everything they do. Let's go back to level 3. Here's going to be a lot of huge key differences. And I told you that one of the key differences was that level 3 embraces change. It embraces evolving. It embraces challenges. It embraces knowing that it's wrong. It embraces its own flaws and wants to see them. Remember that. Like I said, I'm going to break it down sentence. I'm going to read it, ask y'all get it, and then put it in my own words. We can step back from and reflect on the limits of our own ideology or personal authority. We see that any one system or design or self-organization is in some way partial or incomplete. I'm going to put this in my own words. By it saying that we can step back from and reflect on the limits of our own ideology, go back to the first and second level of thinking and remember that the first level of thinking has been given its identity. It has been given its way of thinking. It's the socialized mind. That they get their mind from their socialized life. I grew up in a Christian household. My parents are pastors. I go to church 3 times a week. I read the Bible 7 days a week. I look at things and be like, that's a sin. I want to go to heaven or hell. That's just how I view life, and I project that on everything I see and everything I live and how I see things. Or like I said, it might be a business owner. This business owner, mom and pop taught me how to do this, so I'ma always do it how mom and pop taught me. And you don't know because you're wrong. I'm right, and I'm right because I've always been right, and this is how it worked back for them, and it's gonna work for me now. That conservative, super stuck way of thinking. So when it says that the self-transferring mind can step back and reflect on the limits of its own ideology or personal authority, the idea of authority is like that authority to say I'm right, that authority to talk about someone else, that authority to project my way of thinking. Like, let's say somebody has a conservative way of thinking, and they might say something like women aren't meant to lead, but they don't have any like backup for that or any type of examples or a true constructive and objective argument. Or like some people are really conservative, bro. Women can't do this, and gay people that, and black people this, and your religion is just this, and the Muslims will just pop bombs, and you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how it gets. Y'all know how it gets, right? The key about, like I said, the self-transferring mind is that it can step back from its own limits and own ideology or personal authority. Like I said, that the second level is a step above the first level, but it still is not done yet, because the third level will require you to assume you're wrong, question if you're wrong, or even think that you're wrong in the first place. So like I said, the first level they said was like a passenger in a car. The second level was like being the driver of the car. So the first level has no control in the direction it's going, and then the agenda it's pushing. But the second level does, but they don't know which way they're going. They don't know why they're going that way, and they don't even know that going another way might be better, or they don't even care or to consider it, right? So with the third mind asks questions. The third mind is not attached to itself and identity. It can step back and reflect on the limits of its own ideology and personal authority. Now we're going to get into the next sentence. We see that any one system or self-organization is in some way partial or incomplete. This is just a realization that I am not right. Like I said, the third level is not... Y'all might look at the third level of like... third level, but the first one, I'm better than everything. No. The first level and the second level have the most confidence. That's the funny part. The first level and the second level have the most confidence. The third level is the one that's like, I may be wrong. How am I wrong? What is better? Always constantly questioning itself, constantly evolving, constantly throwing in new ideas, consuming from everything in its environment. But the thing is that the third level doesn't have a filter, so it doesn't choose or limit what it brings in. It accepts everything because, like it said, It knows that it is partial or incomplete. My way of thinking, my perspective is only one human being. There are billions of humans. There are millions of different species on this planet. It is impossible for me, my family, my community to have the one way be end all be all. That third level realizes that and understands that and embraces that. So therefore, like I said, one of the key behaviors of that third level is that they embrace it and they look for those challenging ways of thinking. They look for, you know what I'm saying? Like that was one of the key differences about that level. Chat, let me know if y'all following along thus far, and let me know if this is making sense to y'all. Let me know, bro. All right, let me keep going, because that's like 5% of the third level. We didn't even get to the page of explanation. That's the short paragraph that gives you an introduction. That's not even, we didn't even get started. I told y'all, we not even like, if I would say how much done we are, we probably 60% of the way done. We ain't even go back to the cave yet, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, this is just the levels of mental complexities. This is just the 3 levels of the mental complexities. Like I said, bro, let's get to it though. It says that we are friendlier towards apparent contradictions and opposites. We seek to hold on to multiple systems rather than promoting only one or only the one we prefer. I think that should make, chat, does that make sense to everybody? Like I said, I kind of spoiled a little bit, but like I said, this is only the intro summary. This is not the full explanation of everything. Like I said, when I spoiled some of it to y'all, it talked about that. Like, it being friendlier toward apparent contradictions. Anything that challenges its way of thinking. And it says that we seek to hold on to multiple systems rather than promoting the only one we prefer. Like I said, the first 2 levels, I'm going the right way. I think this way. My identity is attached to this, and I live this way because this is how I live. And it doesn't embrace any other ways of thinking, any other constructive criticism, any other challenging ways of thinking. Now, the key difference between that third level and that second level is that the third level doesn't have that filter, which prevents, like the key about that second level's filter is the second level's filter. The only thing that got through the filter is things that agreed with that level, that self-authoring mind. Anything that supported that agenda, design, or perspective or perception of reality is the only things that got through that filter. That filter blocked everything else out. The third one doesn't have that filter. The third one wants other things to be within that design or system of thinking because it knows that it is flawed in itself. Right? Our self coheres through its ability not to confuse internal consistency with wholeness or completeness, and through its alignment with the dialectic rather than one pole. When I tell y'all, the chef's kiss. But like I said, I already know I'm finna have to go back on and track on that one. I already know I'm finna have to go backtrack on that one. I told y'all we ain't even 60% or 70% of the way explaining that shit. If you thought you was understanding it, my nigga, we ain't even get started yet. If you think you understand the third level of the mind, I'm telling you we ain't even get into it yet, bro. I promise you we done. Hold on. I'm about to eat a little bit of this macaroni, then hop right back into it. Food's good as fuck. But listen. I'm gonna take a break on that one because that was the end, chat. That was the end of the summary. I told y'all we didn't even get into the full explanation yet. That's a summary. That's a 4-sentence summary when the full thing is a page long. And this is on a different page. Well, listen, I told y'all we got time today. I got time. Let's go. Now, it says our self coheres through its ability not to confuse internal consistency with wholeness or completeness, and through its alignment with the dialectic rather than one pole. Now listen, going back to the first mind, the first level, the lowest level, right? Going back to that. Remember that it said about the first level. Remember what it said about the first level. It said that the first level are self-coheres by its alignment with and loyalty to that with which it identifies with. Like I said, Timmy is a white Christian male. His father's a pastor. He's a part of the KKK. He believes Jews and black people and blah, blah, blah. Whatever his beliefs and whatever his conservative, whatever the case may be. Right? Fast forward to that third level. It talks about how our self-coheres through its ability not to confuse internal consistency with wholeness or completeness. Meaning, just because Timmy thinks he's right, and just because Timmy agrees with everything Timmy agrees with, see, Timmy confuses his internal alignment with completeness. So because I think I'm right, I must be right. Or because I don't know that I don't know, I must know. Right? So by saying that it does not confuse internal consistency, Timmy is very consistent within himself. Just because I agree with everything I say or my environment, that doesn't mean that it's complete or whole. Chat, does that make sense? So it says that the self-transferring mind does not confuse the fact that it agrees with everybody, or everybody is on the same page, or everybody thinks it's right, with being whole. So just because I'm around a bunch of Christians or Muslims or Buddhists and stuff like that, and we all agree that this is right, I'm not confusing our agreement or our alignment with each other with the whole picture, the complete truth. But a lot of people do. So if let's say I'm a Muslim man talking to a Christian, or a Christian talking to a Muslim talking to a Buddhist talking to a Christian, and we having an argument, and then I back up my argument by talking to another Christian man, I'm confusing the complete and whole picture with being complete. Well, I'm confusing us agreeing with each other. Yo, tell me I'm right. So if you ever was arguing with somebody and you went to somebody else and was like, bro, listen, am I right or wrong? And we're not talking about a ethical situation. That's why I said a lot of y'all don't even realize that y'all might not be on level 2 or level 1, because y'all don't even realize that y'all done this shit before. You argue with somebody and you go, bro, yo, you know what I'm saying? You don't even realize that that's what you just did. You just confused your alignment to your identity with being complete and whole. Doesn't make sense, chat. Before I turn this page and really dig into the self-transferring mind, does the intro make sense? Does it make sense? Yo, man. Let's really get into it, bro. Another macaroni break. Let's get to it. Like I said, this shit would be confusing as fuck if I couldn't explain it in my own words. Told you I wrote 33 pages on this shit. I put my soul into this once I realized how much this connected to me and aligned with me, bro. I never had something connect to me like this much in my life. It's just when I was reading this shit for the first time, everything clicked. Everything just, I never could explain how I see things or put things on paper like this, or have it to the T, bro. This is an excerpt from the book. This is from this was an ethics course I took, and she took my professor is so fucking smart. She made her own textbook, but what she did was she might have explained things in it, but she had excerpts from certain books. An excerpt is when you take a piece of the book. It's not the whole book. It's not the whole book. So you might take a certain part of that book. So this is called the 3 levels of the mental complexity. It's from immunity to change. Immunity to change. Immunity to change. Even the title of the shit is giving y'all game. And it breaks down the 3 levels of the mental complexity, and it also connects it back. Remember, chat, all this started with the allegory of the cave in Plato. This has nothing to do with it. This is a whole separate thing. But I told y'all that when I read this, it connected to Plato and Allegory the Cave, and I told y'all that even though Plato wrote that shit so long ago, it reminded me how certain leaders today get killed for this shit. And I told y'all I was gonna make it all connect. But they have nothing to do with each other. But they really do. It's just that, you know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Y'all say y'all ready for me to flip this page? Let's flip this fucking page. Let's flip this page. Take a sip of this water, because we about to get into it. We got time today, cuz. Today I got time, cuz. And that's not an affiliation with a Crip or nothing like that. I ain't in no gang. So let's go. Let's go, chat. About to get into it. Like I said, I'm going to try to read through it. Chat, would y'all rather me read the whole thing top to bottom and then go back, read it sentence by sentence and explain it in my own words? Or y'all want to do sentence? I think I should just read the whole thing and then go back and then sentence by sentence. But I promise y'all, as I read the full thing sentence by sentence, don't jump and be like, wait, what the fuck? I'm so lost. Just listen right now. Just focus. I'm telling you, I'm gonna read the whole thing. I'm gonna just read this shit straight. Do not stop. Like, just listen. Even if you get confused, just keep listening. Just get past that shit. Just keep listening, bro. Alright, listen. In contrast to the self-authoring mind, of course, the self-transferring mind also has a filter, but it is not fused with the filter. The self-transferring mind can stand back from its own filter and look at it, not just through it. You have a filter, but it doesn't have you. It doesn't have a complete hold on you. And why would the self-transferring mind do so? Because the self-transferring mind both values and is wary about any one stance, analysis, or agenda. It is mindful that, powerful though a given design may be, this design almost inevitably leaves something out. Now, it is aware that it lives in time and that the world is in motion, and what might have made sense today may not make as much sense tomorrow. Therefore, when communicating, people with self-transferring minds are not only, and I highlighted this shit. Hold on, chat. I literally remember highlighting and marking this shit up because I was like, yo, this shit just was clicking crazy. Therefore, when communicating, people with self-transferring minds are not only advancing their agenda and design, they're also making space for the modification or expansion of their own agenda or design. Like those with self-authoring minds, what they send may include inquiries and requests for information, but rather than inquiring only within the framework of their design, meaning seeking information that will advance their agenda, they are also inquiring about the design itself. Information sending is not just on behalf of driving. Remember the car analogy? It is also to remake the map or reset the direction. I'm going to say that one more time. Information sending is not just on behalf of driving. It is also to remake the map or reset the direction. And I'm not even done. We still got 2 paragraphs to go. But I'm going to stop right there to say, remember I said the car, the socialized mind is a passenger in the car. It doesn't know where it's going. Doesn't know why it's going where it's going. It just is living its life as it is. The self-authoring mind is now driving the car, but it doesn't know where it's going, why it's going that way, and it doesn't care to go any other direction because the direction it's going is the right direction. The self-transferring mind is not just the driver. It is not just getting information or sending information in order to drive. It is doing it in order to remake the map or reset the entire direction. And understand that I did not say receiving information. I said sending. This level of the mind is so good at what it does. It's so good at what it does that it can purposely play the game to draw information from people. I'm telling y'all, we're not even done yet. It can play the game so well that it can bait people's information so much so that it can bait them to help its own agenda while showing that it's not attached to its agenda. I'm going to say that one last time. Information sending is not just on behalf of driving. It is also to remake the map or reset the direction. I'm trying to tell y'all, we didn't even get fucking started yet. We got whole 2 more paragraphs. We didn't even get started. I'm putting, like I said, if you don't understand or you are lost, he said, preach. I'm telling y'all, listen, this shit, I'm telling y'all, Listen. I just want to make sure that I point that out because that should have made a lot of the other minds click, and that should have made the differences in the levels click. Do y'all get the differences now? Even though we haven't even fully explained the self-transferring mind, do y'all get the differences now? How there's different levels and how the levels separate themselves? Like I said, when you understand the third level, the first two make more sense. Y'all see what I'm saying? Like now that the third level is kind of making sense to y'all, the first two are more clearer in how they're different and how they work. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going though. Let's keep going. I'm trying to put y'all. You mean? Like I said, we in the dojo. We ain't the same regular content creation. I'm trying to uplift people's consciousness, push people towards positivity, have people question their reality and become better versions of themselves, spiritually, mentally, and physically. This ain't a community where we just troll and fuck around all day. We really about that shit, bro. I really want this to be like this. Like all that, fuck all the other shit, bro. That's why I don't even see like all this other content creator stuff. I don't even see myself as a content creator, bro. Cause there's other stuff that I want to do in life, bro. I'm telling you, this is all a part of the plan. It's all a part of the vision, bro. Let's get back into it though, chat. It says similarly. The way the self-transferring mind receives information includes the advantages of the self-authoring mind's filter, but it is not a prisoner of that filter. People at this level of mental complexity can still focus, select, and drive when they feel they have a good map, but they place a higher priority on information that may also alert them to the limits of their current design or frame. They value their filter in its ability to separate the wheat from the chaff, but they also know it can also screen out the golden chaff, the unasked for, the anomaly, the apparently inconsequential that may be just what it is needed to turn the design on its head and bring it to the next level of quality. Those with self-transferring minds are more likely to have the chance to consider such information because people are more likely to send it to them. Here's one of my favorite parts. Why is this? Because those with self-transferring minds not only attend to information once it gets to their door, they also realize self-awareness. Their behavior can have a big effect upstream on whether people decide to approach the door in the first place. We ain't even done yet. We ain't even done yet. Just wait till I go back and explain this in my own words. We ain't even done yet. We ain't even done yet. This is just the textbook. This is just what we reading right now. We ain't even done yet. I'm not even done yet. Finna grab some more macaroni before I finish. I'm telling you. We ain't even done yet. And if you don't get nothing, I'll just read. I told you I'm gonna put this in my own words after this. So by the time I explain it, you're gonna understand everything. Any of you don't understand everything, it at least make you think a little different. Let's go. It says, let me go back and read that part. Those with self-transferring minds are more likely to have the chance to consider such information because people are more likely to send it to them. Why is this? Because those with self-transferring minds not only attend to information once it gets to their door, they also realize their behavior can have a big effect upstream on whether people decide to approach the door. Others are not left guessing whether to send potentially off-mission communication they judge to be important. They send it because people with self-transferring minds have found ways to let them know such information will be welcomed. I'll make a book about this. I low-key could write a whole book on this shit. I wrote it. Yo, listen, it was the final paper for our ethics class. The requirement was 18 pages. It was like 18 through 22. I wrote 33 pages. Single spaced. Single spaced. I don't even remember if it was. I promise you, I believe it was single spaced. Single spaced. 33 pages. 33 pages, single spaced. I put my soul into this shit because I never read something like this. And mind you, when we still ain't even connected back to the allegory of the cave. We still ain't even connected to the allegory of the cave. We still ain't even connected to that yet. Or even what I wrote about in the paper, or how, or we didn't even put this in my own words. It's in the article. David said he found an article, but let me read y'all the title of that. That's just the 3 levels of the mental complexities paper and how they explain it. And it's called Immunity to Change by Robert Keegan and Lisa Lasco LaHaye. Boston Harvard Business Press 2009. And it says, Keegan and Leahy have spent over 30 years researching mental complexity in countries all over the world, in all professional groups of people skewed towards middle class, college educated individuals. Mental complexity in its evolution is not about how smart you are in the ordinary sense of the word. It is not about a high IQ or being able to comprehend ever more abstract calculations, like the physicist's blackboard with complex equations. Like I said, this 3rd level of mental complexity, somebody might have a master's degree in physics. Somebody might be a doctor. Somebody might be a politician, and they're still on level 1. They're still on level 1 of the mental complexity. It's not even about how smart you are. It is not even about how smart you are. But let me keep reading the intro part. When we experience the world as too complex, we are not just experiencing the complexity of the world, we are experiencing a mismatch between the world's complexity and our own at that moment. These are 2 logical ways to mend this mismatch. Oh no, it says, there are 2 logical ways to mend this mismatch, to reduce the world's complexity or to and here are the 2 ways. Here's the 2 ways to deal with that. Like I said, that person who gets that they're trying to ascend and see that true level of enlightenment, 2 ways to handle that. They reduce the world's complexity, meaning they go back to the shadows of the cave, go back and stray away from that sun that will blind them. They reduce the world's complexity to a level that they can deal with, or we increase our own. I'm telling y'all, we just getting started. I'm telling y'all, we are just getting started. Who was here since the very beginning, from when we were talking about XQC? Who was here since like the very first second? I know a couple of you might have gotten here late. I'm going to put this full thing on YouTube. I'm going to close the VOD off so I can put the whole thing on YouTube. I'm glad. Listen, if you've been here since the very beginning, listen, I apologize if this is a lot, but it's important. It's really important. And I never explained it with like Timmy's sense of the world, but let's keep going. Like I said, they have 2 choices. They either go back to the cave, that normal life that they can handle, their habits, their ways of thinking, their structure, their community, their religion, their conservative ways of thinking, whatever the case may be. Once they realize it's too complex, they either go back or they increase their own complexity. Once they realize the world's complexity, and like I said, some people never do. Some people stay on the level of the cave and the projections on the wall and what they're taught in all that environment. They stay on that. But when somebody starts to ascend up, they either go back to their comfort or they raise their complexity. And that's where Plato was like, or that metaphor was like, they can't just go straight from the fire, not the fire, but they can't just go straight from the projection on the wall. They might have to go outside at night. And then when they go outside at night, they can't even look at the moon. They have to look at the moon in the reflection of a lake. And then they can't, when they can start to look at the moon in a reflection of the lake, they might be able to look at the moon. And then they can finally look at the moon, they might be able to do it daytime a little bit in the shade. And then they can finally, you know what I'm saying? That just speaks in, that metaphor is just about the process. You can't just go straight from fucking shadows on the wall straight to I'm an enlightened woke person. You can't just do that. Your eyes, like I said, your eyes would be too much for your eyes, or in the sense that your eyes are enlightenment. It's just too much. That complexity would be too much. Now, chat. If anybody's confused from the explanation of the self-transferring mind, we're about to go back damn near sentence by sentence. I'm gonna group together sentences that I think make sense together, and I'm gonna explain it together in my own words. And by the end of this, you should get everything. And then when we go back to the allegory of the cave, you're gonna be like, oh. And then when I'm pointing out shit, it's gonna make more sense. If you're confused, that's all right. That's all right. If you're confused, that's all right. We're about to go back into it. Are y'all ready? Let me see. Are y'all ready? We gotta be ready, man. I know it's somebody in the crowd like, bro, just fucking get to it. Trying to make sure. Are y'all ready? This is a lot of information. A lot of people probably sitting there like, damn, like, I probably been like this with my whole life, or, you know what I'm saying, I want to change now, but I don't know how to change, or we're gonna get into all that. Or even questions for me. When did you realize you would change, or when did you realize you wanted to be, or when did you realize you were on that level 3 system thinking? It can even get personal to me. You know what I'm saying, I have no problem sharing the information. But I tell y'all about this shit, man. Listen. Alright, now let's get to it. Right? Back to the very first sentence, when at the first part they were just comparing the you ever took shrooms or acid? Never in my life. I don't believe that you need a substance to raise your consciousness and awareness. I don't believe that if, you know, the higher power chose to connect to someone or speak to someone, it does not need a substance or middleman to do so. That's just my beliefs. Let's keep going though. Self-transferring mind. Remember the first part, they were just comparing the self-transferring mind to the self-authoring mind, the level below it. Let's keep going though. In contrast, the self-transferring mind also has a filter. Y'all remember the filter? The role that the filter played in the second mind is that, let's say this water bottle is information. I got a filter or something, right? I'm pouring water in there. And like, not really water. Let's talk about like rocks or dust or some shit. Water might make it to the filter, but a rock, if I pour a bunch of like pebbles on it, they're gonna get stuck at the top of the filter. The water is gonna pass through. The water is what agrees and supports that idea or design. That design is how they see the world, how they think they're right, whatever the case may be, how they just see the world exactly. And the pebbles or whatever is anything that rejects or disagrees with that filter or their perception, or challenges that perception. They don't let it get through the filter because it does not align with their identity and what they are so attached to. They are controlled, and that's the key, that they are controlled and attached to that filter, and that is the biggest flaw of that second level and why it's not the highest level yet. Let's keep going. But it is not fused with the filter. Like I said, it says fused. The second level is fused. It's attached to that filter. It's so, and that's one of the biggest flaws about that one. It says the self-transferring mind can stand back from its own filter and look at it, not just through it. It can step back from its own filter and look at it, not just through it. So that it's not just that the filter is there and things get through the filter, or things can't get through the filter. It's that the self-transferring mind is aware of its own, that it's aware that it has a filter in the first place. It's aware that there's something in them that might have rejected information, contradictory information, or it's something in them that already limits how they can see the world. And this awareness of it leads them to not just be able to look through that filter and how they perceive things. That's like some Illuminati shit. But not just how to look through the filter, right? But it allows them to be able to challenge that filter. They look at it, not just through it. They look at it and say, this filter is flawed. I may be wrong. My way of thinking may be flawed. That self-authoring mind is attached to that filter. I'm not letting anything get through it. I don't even see my own filter. I just live life the way I do because this is how it's always been. It's the right way to do it. And I'm telling people how to do it. Like I said, back to the car example. The first level is a passenger. The second level is a driver. And the third level is a person trying to find the right way to go. Or they realize that they might not be going the right way. They realize that this whole time They didn't even know why they were going the way they were going. They've been a sheep in the crowd, a bot, a programmed person. Right. Now listen. And it says, you have a filter, but it doesn't have you. It doesn't have a complete hold on you. You're not so attached to that identity, that version of yourself. You're not so blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Now to continue going. It says, and why would the self-transferring mind do so? Because the self-transferring mind both values and is wary about one's stance, analysis, or agenda. Let me stop right there. It says, why would the self-transferring mind look at its filter and not just through it? Why would it be different? Or, why does it think to be different from that second level or that first level? Because it values and is wary, meaning it is consciously worried. Like if you're wary about something, like if I'm walking in the woods, they're like, yo, be wary, like beware. That's where, what I'm saying, that whole relation to that. Beware of the bears. Beware of the wolves. Be wary. Be aware of. You know what I'm saying? So they're wary about any one stance, analysis, or agenda. So they value that. They value other people's stances, analysis, agendas, designs, and perceptions. And they're wary that their own may be a problem. Now, to continue. Chat, is everything making sense so far? Am I explaining it in simple terms? Is everything making sense? Let me know. Let me know. I don't want to just keep skipping and keep going and keep going. Alright. Yeah, I'm trying to really like put it in perspective of like any person and like make it related to the second level and the first level. And we could even talk about why I believe people never make it out of the first level and why I believe people never make it out of the second level and why the third level gets... We can get into that, right? Let's just keep going though. It was spin full circle. It'll make more sense later, but this is just the definition. We make sure we got the definition right. Now listen. It is mindful that powerful though a given design may be, this design almost inevitably leaves something out. Like I said, the whole idea of a design is like, let's say how they view the world, how they perceive reality, what they were taught. Your religion is the only religion that's right, or black people are this and gay people are that, and transgender this, and whatever you were taught and how you perceive reality, and whatever level you are stuck on thinking in, right? Or even like I said, it might be simpler, a business plan. I run my business like this. I put my money in my couch. Or I'm a gangster. I'm gonna always be a gangster. I'm a die gangster. Yeah, hood shit and blah blah boom bang. And I talk like this because I walk like this because I'm that guy. Right? It realizes that this designer way of thinking is incomplete. It's not whole. It is not. Remember, like I said in the beginning, it does not confuse the alignment with completeness or wholeness, and that's what the first two levels make the mistake of doing. They become so attached to their environment, their filter, their way of thinking, their perception of reality, everything they believe and live, that they just can't look at themselves from a third person perspective and separate from that. But let's keep going though. Let's keep going. It is aware that it lives in time and that the world is in motion. And what might have made sense today may not make as much sense tomorrow. The self-transforming mind, the definition is in the name. The mind is self-transforming. The socialized mind, the mind is socialized from its environment. The self-authoring mind, it has control, it's the driver of the car, but it's still authorized. It's self-authorized. It's still stuck on that authority. The self-authority creates a filter and what it will allow to come through. It's still attached to that. The self-transferring mind is constantly evolving, constantly adapting, constantly raising its level of consciousness, its level of awareness, self-awareness, whatever the case may be, on purpose and with purpose. Let's keep going though, chat. Right? Where am I? Like I said, what makes sense today may not make as much sense tomorrow. Let's keep going. Therefore, when communicating, people with self-transferring minds are not only advancing their agenda and design. Remember that for the first two, it talked about sending and receiving information. Right? And when they send and receive information, The first two are advancing their agenda and design. Right? The third one is not just when it's communicating with people that are not only advancing their agenda and design. It says that they are making space for the modification or expansion of their agenda or design. So those two sentences connect in the sense that that third level is not even talking or preaching or speaking on things in order to put their thinking on someone else. They might honestly project their thoughts and viewpoints and stuff so that someone else can challenge it. Because like I said, remember one of the key points about it is that it embraces contradictions. It embraces its own flaws. It is aware that it has a filter and that other people have filter, and it is aware that other people are where they are. And that whole idea of they're making space for the modification of, the first two minds don't do that. They don't make space for the modification or expansion of their design. And when it says expansion, it means that making their design more whole, more objective rather than subjective, more holistic and more objective and more true to the true perception of reality, true to the true objective reality, rather than the first one, who is more like stuck in their reality and they're pushing their reality on others. They don't even realize that they're doing it, and they're just preaching it and pushing that all out there and projecting it on other people with no concern that, you know what I'm saying, that they can challenge themselves or think they're wrong, or try to even look for a better way to think. So let's keep going, chat. I hope that part makes sense, because that's one of the key parts. It says, like those with self-authoring minds, what they send may include inquiries and requests for information, but rather than inquiring, meaning looking for, only within the frame of their design, meaning when it says within the frame of their design, it just says that it's seeking information that will advance their agenda, meaning looking for information or looking for people that only support you. So like I said, you ever been arguing with somebody, you go, yo bro, am I right or am I wrong? Knowing that that person was going to agree with you in the first place, knowing that that person has your same religion, knowing that that person is grew up the same way you are in the same neighborhood, they come from the same hood, you know what I'm saying? So at that point in time, like they inquire for information that only supports their agenda and challenge everything else. The self-transferring mind inquires information that is not only within the frame of their design, but they are also inquiring about the design itself. Is this frame, is this way of living even right? How does my religion compare to other religions? What do we have in common? What are our differences? Where did my religion come from? Why do I believe my religion? Why did my family believe their religion? Who taught them their religion? Why do I live in this neighborhood? Why in this neighborhood I live in is crime the way it is? Why is there a cycle of violence? Why do hurt people hurt people? Where did all this come from? You know what I'm saying? Questioning the design itself rather than just being a product of that design. So let's keep going. Information sending. And remember, I told you about this. Information sending is not just on behalf of driving. It is also to remake the map or reset the definition. Going back to the car analogy. Like I said, when you're in this car, the three levels can be compared to a person in a car. The first level is a passenger of the car. They're going somewhere. They don't know where they're going, why they're going there. They just know they're in the car. The second level is driving the car. They have a step above that first level, but they don't know where they might know where they're going, but they don't know why they're going where they're going. They don't know why they're going the direction that they're going. And they don't even question if there's a better direction to go, if their destination is correct, or what they're pushing and preaching in the world is objective rather than something they've been taught. So they still drive in the car, but they have the same destination that the socialized level 1 mind had. They still have that same destination. They're just driving now. Same direction, same everything. So they're still a puppet in a sense. They're still controlled by these things, but they have this sense of control, this sense of self-authority, right? And like going to the third mind, they're driving, but not just on behalf of just driving. When they send out information, or as they're going in a direction, they're not just doing that to go that direction. They're sending information to remake the map or reset the direction. I said that was such a key point because I didn't say receiving information, I said sending. So that's why I said one of the key skills of someone with that self-transferring mind is that they can debate with someone, they can have a conversation, or they can talk to people, and they do so in a manner that makes people, and they can even take the criticism, but they do so in a way that makes people point out their flaws. They embrace being challenged. They embrace being wrong. When they send out information, they're not doing it just so they can prove that they're right. They're doing it so other people can prove how they're wrong. They're doing it on purpose. But the other minds just send information because they believe they got the cheat code. They believe they got the end all be all. They haven't went through the process of saying, am I right? Could I be wrong? Let me compare myself to other people who say the same stuff, and let me see how they're right. Let me switch my perspective. Let me disconnect from my own point of view. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they embrace those opposing views on purpose and with the purpose. So that not that they, and it's not just that they can believe what the person opposing them believes. Is that they can have both. And that's the key. That they can have both. So by getting you to talk and explain yourself or understanding how you think, I never get rid of how I think. Is that now I have both. I see another perspective. So guess what? 2 eyes is better than 1. One eye sees that side of the room in that direction. I close that eye sees that other room in the direction. But if I open both eyes, I see a wider scope of the room. So that's the whole idea of improving that perspective and them looking for people's other frames and designs. Is that you might be able to see on your left side, you might be able to see on your right side, but you open both eyes, you get another eye, you see more. In like a metaphor way. Now, chat, let me know if this is making sense so far before I keep going. Is it making sense, chat? I get what you're saying, but some shit ain't easy to change, to be honest. And that's why some people never make it out of level 1. And that's why some people never make it to level 2 or out of level 2. And that's why when you get to level 3, you can't go back. There's no going back. Once you make it to level 3, or you get there, or your level of mental complexity, your consciousness goes to that level, there's no going back. But we can get into that later, how to change and how to go from 1, 2 to 3, and what you can do for that, or my beliefs on that. I'm gonna break all that down because I might be even giving y'all my personal story, my personal, side of things where it's like, you know what I'm saying? So let's keep going though, chat. I gotta make sure this definition is all clear before I even start talking about all this shit. Right? Let's keep going. Similarly, the way the self-transferring mind receives information includes the advantages of the self-authoring mind's filter, but it is not a prisoner of that filter. Prisoner meaning, like they said, the self-authoring mind, the second level, is still fused with that filter. It's a prisoner of that filter because it won't let anything through which is out of alignment with what it believes and disagrees with what it says, or challenges its thoughts and shows that it may be wrong. People become so attached to their identity, their version of themselves, and the reality and environment and the culture or whatever they might be attached to, that they just don't want to give it up. And they're a prisoner of that filter. The self-transferring mind is not. Let's keep going. So that's what it means by a prisoner. Controlled by. You're stuck in that cage, but you don't even realize you're in that cage. People at this level of mental complexity can still focus, select, and drive when they feel they have a good map, but they place a higher priority on information that may also alert them to the limits of their current design or frame. Like I said, they keep mentioning this car shit or driving the car because the key difference between the second level and the third level is that the third level is trying to go to the right, not the right direction, but a better direction, a more objective direction. It's trying to understand where it's going and why it should be going there, and why this other person, where is this other person driving? Where is this? Because it's not that all the sheep are going in the same direction. There might be different sheep and different bots going in different directions. People who are so stuck in one religion or one sexuality or one conservative way of thinking, one political party, one colorist way of thinking, whatever the case may be. Whatever idea or design they're driving, it could be multiple of them. It could be multiple different ones. It could be multiple different ways they're driving. They might not be racist, but they might be sexist. They might not be sexist, but they might be racist. Or they might have both. So that's why I said it's different designs. It's on smaller levels, different. And that's why it said in the beginning that when these people talk and interact with the world, you are seeing a manifestation of their design. Because they have different designs. They have different aspects of themselves. And they manifest through how they act and interact with the world. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going now. Well, it's not. Well, yeah, different variants, but this is all a part of that same person. This is all a part of that one self. That one individual or crowd or whatever the case may be. But let's keep going now. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, they can still focus and go the direction that they're going. They can still, speak on their agenda. They can still speak on their design and be confident in it. But they would much rather place a higher priority on information that may alert them to the limits of their current design. Meaning, like I said, they embrace flaws. They embrace being wrong. They embrace knowing they're wrong. They embrace contradictions. They embrace people who will expose them. They embrace people who will show them they're wrong. You know how uncomfortable that is? That's embarrassing. That's why a lot of people don't make it past 1 or 2. It's not only... See, I can show more empathy to the people who don't go from level 1 to 2 to 3 because it's just a hard choice to abandon everything you've believed into this far. I can empathize with that. But I can't respect the people who just have a fear of embarrassment, who just don't want to be wrong. They might even, that's why I said the second level is worse than the first. Even though it's higher, it's worse than the first. Because you have more self-awareness you might be able to get to level 3. But you choose, like I said, when that person realizes that the light is too bright, they have a choice to, like I said in the beginning, they have a choice to reduce the world's complexity or to increase their own. And they purposely choose not to increase their own. They stay comfortable. They stay where they're at. And I can't respect that. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to... And they want to be ashamed of themselves. They don't want to face themselves. They don't want to face their shadow. They don't want to do this. And like I said, it's not a lot of people's fault. Because like I said, you have your day-to-day life. You might have a 7 to 3 at school. You go to school from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You might have a 9 to 5 job. You might have an after-school program. You might have a social community service or whatever the case may be. You got over 10 plus social media apps. Tinder, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, the video game, Xbox, PS4, Fortnite, whatever the case may be. All these apps which already constrict your time and attention. So you literally just don't even have time to face yourself sometimes or to go through this process. And then have on top of that, it's hard. So you're not only being distracted, but it's hard to get away from distraction because it just is uncomfortable. You'll question your entire existence. So like I said, being a 3, looking at a 1 is not looking down on anyone or shaming anyone or talking shit. You honestly feel bad. It's a sort of like similar like depression that you get, realizing that some of these people might be your family members. Some of these people might be your friends, people you grew up with, people you trust and knew your whole life, and knowing that they might be stuck on that level of consciousness their entire life, and that they won't change or aren't willing to change, and that's just the way they are. Real shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going though. But you still can love them as they are. But just that realization that if you really showed them who you were and how you truly thought and how you truly challenged things, and you know what I'm saying? That's just how it would be. You know what I mean? So let's keep going though. It says they value their filter and its ability to separate the wheat from the chaff, but they know it can also screen out the golden chaff, the unasked for, the anomaly, the apparently inconsequential that may be just what is needed to turn the design on its head and bring it to the next level. I'm about to dumb all that down. The whole idea of the golden chaff is that new perspective or that enlightenment or that new idea that changes everything, that changes how they see the world, that makes their plan 10 times better. Like I said, it didn't have to be conscious. Niggas, it could just be like, let's say someone runs a business and they only run the business one way. That constructive criticism, that flaw that they're finally aware of, might take them to the next level. When they finally realize that they might have an ego, and it might be time for an ego death, or they might realize that they have a shadow, or a child that still lives within them, and they never got rid of that child. They don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even, when they start to realize that, they embrace that because they know that is a thing that they would love to get. It will take them to the next level. It will raise their consciousness, and it will change how they see the world for the better, to be more objective and stuff. You see what I'm saying? You go, TyKwon. Who is that just typed my real name in the chat? Who is that? I forgot I posted my real name on Instagram today. But like I was saying though, I thought you were somebody I knew. I was like, even people I know don't say my full name. People call me Ty. In real life, people call me Ty. Everybody calls me Ty. But let's keep going. Those with self-transferring minds are more likely. Wait, let me go back. Like I said, but that's basically me explaining that point. They embrace that information because they know how it will help them. Now, those with self-transferring minds are more likely to have a chance to consider such information because people are more likely to send it to them. So what it's speaking on now is that why do people with self-transferring minds consistently evolve? Why do they consistently accept the reality? Why do they consistently just keep changing and evolving and growing? And why do they accept that what they had was wrong and blah, blah, blah? Why? Because people with self-transferring minds not only attend to information once it gets to their door, they also realize that their behavior can have a big effect upstream on whether people decide to approach the door or not, or people would decide to approach the door in the first place. And the key thing about that is you might not even realize that by constantly arguing back with someone, by constantly disagreeing with someone and being so strongly opinionated and just enforcing your thoughts on everything, that you are inadvertently, meaning accidentally or like a side effect, you are inadvertently pushing people away. People start looking at you and saying like, I don't even want to tell them. I don't even want to give them advice. I don't even want to give them constructive criticism because they get offended. They get offended. They get defensive. They reject it. They don't listen. They don't, even if, and this is the key thing about the self-transferring mind, even if the self-transferring mind thinks it knows better, it will still listen to somebody that they know that they have a better answer than. Listening to the homeless man and the CEO. I don't discriminate. I can learn a lesson from the CEO, the homeless man on the street, the random lady at the bus stop, my boss, my mentor, my father, my little sister. You can always learn anything from anyone. And the self-transferring mind is aware that depending on how it projects its ego and depending on how it projects itself, people may be less likely to bring them information that might help them. Like, I remember I was watching that shit with XQC. This is how you know XQC is woke on this shit. When XQC was talking to Aiden, and before XQC spoke to Aiden on stream, he said, are you the type of person that, you know what I'm saying, that gets offended, or can I be honest with you? And Aiden was like, nah, just tell me later. But the fact that XQC even asked, the fact that XQC checked before he spoke, lets me know he has the consciousness and awareness to realize that if he would have spoke to him right then and there, or that if he would have just gave him that information, Aiden might have rejected it or been less likely to receive it because he was on stream and everyone else is listening and watching. And like I said, people stay on level 1 and level 2 because they can't handle embarrassment. They don't want to know that they're wrong. They don't like criticism. They don't like, and not just the fact that it's like abandoning everything you have in life up until this point. You might have to give up. You might even question your own religion. You might even question your own family, your neighborhood, your own way of living that you've been having for 20 years or even longer than that. Some people die on level 1. I told y'all, people be 90 and still on that level 1, never even see level 3 or know it exists. But there's a reason for that. And the smaller reason is that sometimes that people can't handle embarrassment. People can't handle, you know what I'm saying, that. So the fact that XQC asked him before he said that, it lets me know he was conscious and aware of that. And guess what? Let's even apply it to what was just said in the book. If Aiden did this, let's say when XQC asked him that, if Aiden did this, nah, bro, feel free to tell me anything. I love it when people tell me about myself. I love it when people, tell me something that might help me. I really like that. I appreciate that. And Jordan Peterson mentioned one time that if somebody does something you like, tell them. They'll do it more often. And that's the simple connection to this, where it talks about how the self-transferring mind, people with that level, they receive so much information like this because they know that their behavior can impact how often people do it for them. So if you're just constantly rejecting information, your parents trying to give you a lesson, and you say, oh my God, shut up. Even if you don't want to listen, somebody with the self-transferring mind is going to take the L. They're going to get embarrassed on purpose. They're going to swallow the pill. They're going to take that L. Because they realize, if I reject it here, if I react emotionally, if I deny this person trying to help me, they might not do it again. Or they might be hesitant to do it in the future. But if I acknowledge that I like that they do this, if I acknowledge that I appreciate them for doing this, guess what? They'll do it more often. They'll be willing to do it. They won't even hold back. If somebody, because we see some people might not always just stop helping you. They might just start holding back and start trying to say it to you in a way that they feel that you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because of that. But people with the self-transferring mind on that level, they don't play that shit. They want it. They want all the smoke. They embrace the smoke and they look for the smoke. Now let's keep going. Right? That's why I says it. They realize that their behavior can have a big effect upstream whether people decide to approach the door. And it's like, why do they get this information at their door so often? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Now, it says, others are not left guessing whether to send potentially off-mission communication they judge to be important. Now, the idea of them judging it to be important means that I might want to tell you something that I believe will help you. I judge this as important information. I want to tell you something. Yo, bro, when you did this and when you said that, blah, 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 blah. I judge the information to be important. Right? Now, if a person has that information that they judge to be important, but they believe there might be some potentially off-mission communication, meaning you might reject it, you don't like it, you deny information, you're closed-minded, they are left guessing whether to send it in the first place. So that's why I read this sentence backwards to make you understand it, but that's just how it is. That's what it means, though. And then the last sentence of the paper or this article is, they send it because people with self-transferring minds have found ways to let them know such information will be welcomed, not accepted. Not that I'm gonna listen to you and change. Not that I'm gonna listen to you and just become how you telling me to act. But I give you this sense that your information is welcomed, regardless of if you think I'm gonna change or not, or I'm gonna do it or whatever. You at least know that I welcome it, so that I'm never gonna miss out on anything, on any system or design. Now, chat. That is the 3 levels of mental complexity. That is the whole shit. That's my own words. That's what I'm saying. Me trying to explain it and make it make sense to y'all. That is 2 pages from something called Immunity to Change. That is only 2 pages of that. I believe it was written by like Harvard professors. They did some research and shit like that. But I personally wrote a 33-page paper on like that in relation to this allegory of the cave, in relation to ethics, and a whole bunch of other shit that I learned, and I put it all together in relation to enlightenment, spirituality. 33 pages, single spaced on that shit. That's why that's why I'm not just read. I don't even need the excerpt or the title to explain that shit. It just makes it easier because when I go to the definition directly and cite my source when I'm talking about something, that I can take what they're trying to say and give it in your own words in a way that y'all can understand it. Because not everybody's going to be able to read that and just like, oh, I get it. There's some dense information. Or that not everybody, and coming from, you know what I'm saying, like the third level, the self-transferring mind of mental complexity, I can better explain that third level. I can better explain the smaller levels, because another thing about the third level is that it has the awareness and consciousness to understand how it used to think and why it was so flawed. It's why I told y'all that it can even get personal, where I could tell y'all my process of this shit and my, you know, I'm coming with this shit, and when I started to change and realize this shit. Name of the book. You can't get that book. You can get the article that I read that certain page from. That book is a textbook I had from one of my ethics courses. So it's a textbook specifically for that course. That was just one nigga. That was just 2 pages in that shit. That was just literally 2 pages, bro. Bro, shit gets deep. Yo, chat. I could literally have a stream like this every day. I swear to God. I swear to, like, dating advice and women nature and getting girls. I told you I had that shit figured out by the time I was like 16 or 17. That shit is basic to me. I do that shit like with my eyes closed. This type of shit, or anything I read in other books, and I would much rather talk about that shit. And I told y'all, the whole dojo, the whole TyKwonDoe, this whole blowing up thing, I kind of sort of tricked y'all into fucking with the community based for the women. It's not even about the women to me. It's about self-growth, improvement, enlightenment, self-awareness, all these kind of. It's not even about the women. You have been fooled. All that shit, I don't even, I don't even think about limps if I'm not reacting to something. I don't worry about this shit. It's so much shit that I do throughout the day and worry about throughout the day that I don't even worry about none of that shit, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, but it's just that I'm not even like to toot my own horn. I think I just want to end the vibe, and if we talk about stuff after this, it'll be whatever.